And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to this may disappoint you. Here he is. He used the same thumbnail as what you're going to do. Well, same picture at least. Fat Sheeta. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live, coming at you live from the live broadcast in live Dallas, Texas. You muted. And everyone complains about me talking quietly. That's because I'm quietly. I'm low energy, really. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How's everyone doing? It's your boy. Skinny penis. How do you guys like my talking avatar? Your volume is quiet, apparently.
Can you hear me now, people? Can you guys hear me now? Do.
Waiting for the stream to catch up, really.
Okay. Catch up. Am I good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so welcome to the stream. We had a little technical difficulties. It's nothing that doesn't always happen on the stream. What's up with Isagi's eyes in the thumbnail? Dude, I have no idea what you mean. I just took the screenshot directly from...
This is like the actual screenshot from the anime, so I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, I got no clue what you're talking about, man. But anyways, yeah, I hope you do enjoy Raven's new talking avatar. We've linked it, so now he's a little more animated. You know, as much animation as they want to provide us with the anime episode.
Yep, I am a slideshow. Don't worry.
No,
At
but
least I fade into each other instead of cutting from frame to frame.
Yeah, and slide across the screen. Like...
Yeah, let me slide across the screen real quick. Watch.
Oh, fuck, I realized. Now the layout isn't even fixed yet. The layout's wrong. Now I gotta fix the layout. Because Raven wanted to start early.
I said we can. And you said, yeah, sure.
No, you said nuh-uh. And I'm like, yeah-huh. And you're like, nuh-uh.
The fuck you mean, nuh-uh?
The fuck you mean, nuh-uh?
Your Honor, shut the fuck up. He wasn't even there.
Your Honor, in my defense, you weren't fucking there.
Your Honor, I'd like to plead the fifth.
Your Honor, pleading the fifth is what I plead.
Your Honor, I demand my Second Amendment. Brings a gun in.
Your Honor, the Second Amendment is what I support in this country, and if I can't have that, then no one else can either.
Has more animation than the anime. Bro, I am so animated. Trust me, guys. This is the best you'll get until I bother to face reveal, but I probably will never anyway.
Yeah.
Unless I can get like a proper
Because here's the thing. I don't know how to do that for one. I know someone who might though. I don't know a VTuber, but I know someone who got contracted to do like VTuber stuff. I can see how they set it up themselves. So if that's something.
My life has more movement than the anime. Wow, it's kind of low bar anyway.
My life has more movement than the anime. I don't even really do anything.
Yusuke's eyes and tongue is weird to see. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, this is how it is in the anime. I don't know what you're like talking about, man. This is how it is.
No, he didn't say it wasn't from the anime. He's saying it's weird looking.
Well, I know, but like I know it's fair, but like this is how it was in the anime, so we can't judge them because this is what they meant. This is what they wanted, bro.
To be fair, this was their peak. Since past this point, it fell off.
Yeah.
This was so good, and then it fell off.
Yeah, like if they just kept this tongue out the entire time. No, this is like a teaser for what we're gonna be getting of Rein's flow state, like right there. That's what it is. So like if you're curious, like I'm sending it.
Yeah.
There we go. It's now fixed. Okay. It's now...
Chat, he fixed it.
I fixed it. What's up, everybody? Anyways, so for today's agenda, we are going to start by reviewing chapter 279 that released... We don't have the English scans. We have the high quality scans, though. And I have translations on my phone, but it's not actual English scans, you know? Then we're going to go into episode Nagi, and then we'll go into the episode review, and then we'll be going to just do a small thing that I mentioned to Raven, but I don't want to mention to you guys just yet. You'll see. It's a small event thing. It's not even that. We're just going to be talking about something else after that stuff. But that's all that's going to be happening today. So I hope you guys are excited for the stream. And yeah, let's just take a look at the chapter first. Except I have to watch an advertisement to get access, even though I already watched an advertisement to get access.
Advertisement?
Advertisement.
BLUELOCK, more like YapLock. Yeah, it was pretty much like Isagi talks a lot, and I feel like he would be better as a silent protagonist. Just like
yeah.
It takes away the whole thing. Without talking, what is Isagi?
Well, what's the term for it? Overthinker. Oh, that's a great term. Anyways, so we have the chapter here. Let me go to here the English translations. So I just realized that none of the English translations I'm looking at are actually accurate. I hate everything about today right now. Nobody wants to give me the actual English translations that are correct. I gotta go look for them myself. We're not prepared, as you can tell. This is why we go live at noon.
Yeah, but anyway.
Okay. Does this one have it? Okay, here we go. So the chapter begins with the announcer saying, Kaiser's eyes are fixated on the decisive shot. The future is determined in this tense moment. He continues by saying, alright, it's Bayern München's free kick opportunity. The kicker is the new emperor, Michael Kaiser. And Kaiser says, hey, you shitty master. There we go. We'll skip to the next page. From the beginning, have you been participating in this league just to make me evolve? And Noah says, that's right. Kaiser says, you guided Yoichi too just to simulate me. And Noah says, of course. Kaiser says, so it's all about creating a rival to improve yourself, huh? You're really only thinking about yourself. You're a scum of a coach. Is that the way the world's best does it? And Noah says, world's best? That's just a trophy created by others. And Kaiser's like, what? He says, I've simply pursued the life of a striker completely, perfectly, and instinctively as my own expression. Being number one is just a result of that. And right now, the talent that threatens me the most is Julian Loki. And we see him talking about Loki. So Noah then says, after settling things with him, come surpass me someday, Kaiser. And Kaiser says, what the hell is with him? And Noah says, I want to fight those who are stronger. To the bone, I'm simply a football junkie. So at this point, what did you think of the chapter?
It's a lot of talking. A lot of yapping.
It is a lot. It is like this chapter was very slow.
It's to say like I feel as if though the result of this weekend has been like a lot of we got the content and it wasn't like entirely what we expected in terms of like even quality or amount of content. So but I do appreciate once again the expansion of Noah's character nonetheless.
I do as well. I also think of it like, so in this regard of like being closest to number one, is Noah basically saying the next closest person to being the number one striker is Loki, and then after Loki comes Kaiser? Like, is it like a hierarchy?
In term that no, I mean I believe it more so in term Loki's a threat because he's rapidly growing, and of course like Loki's developing someone like Charles who would be who Loki admitted that is his ticket in order to surpassing Noah.
So is that not just saying that Loki's the next closest person at that point?
No, because he specifically stated with use of Charles as his golden ticket. So therefore he's not on an individual level to Noah.
So would you say that Kaiser's closer than Loki? If you put them side by side, who's closer?
I wouldn't say that either. Loki's obviously closer, but like I would say that Kaiser is the person which can improve Noah because they're playing on the same professional club. But of course, the result of this is: will Kaiser go to Real, or will he stay on Bastard because of Noah?
Yeah. I'm curious as to what would happen with Ness if he did decide to leave. Like, is Ness just gonna be on Bastard by himself?
It's a different offer from Real or something.
Yeah, but if you go to Real, you'll have Sai there. Sai and Kaiser would go fucking crazy. Like,
yeah, but like, I'm open to any unpredictable scenario though.
Yeah. All right.
As long as it makes sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's continue. And Kaiser says, "Are you the lead of some shonen manga? But is this the source of Noah's talent?" And Isagi says, "Now, Kaiser, where are you aiming? If I were to steal your goal from here, I would either option A, or not option 1, push in the rebound of his shot, or 2, change the trajectory of his shot to score. Either way, I have to read whether it's going to the right corner or the left corner. If you're going to put the same backspin as before, then it would be the left corner. No, maybe you'll feint that and smash it straight into the right corner with all of your might. Come on. React as if you react after he shoots, there's no way you'll make it in time. Right or left? I have to bet on one and start running first."
Isagi always loses these gambles.
Yeah, because he's not really playing off of logic. He's just playing off of he's leaning too much into luck. Like,
no, this is not luck. This is chance. A bit different.
Well, is it not the same thing? The chance that you get lucky.
You can't. Well, no, you can't capitalize off being lucky. Like this because it's 50-50. Luck is something in which you obtain through, of course, your own skill, whilst chance is literally down to the gamble.
Right, but anyways, Isagi says a gamble of thoughts with Kaiser, and Kaiser says, "I will." Yeah.
Literally the next fucking text.
Literally, Kaiser says, "I won't." Sorry, I was exhausted. Kaiser says, "I won't live the way that Noah wants me to. He probably wants me to be his rival within Bastard München, but I won't fall for that. I'll create my own new story." Kaiser then says, "I'm finally feeling my zero self. A worthless piece of trash who can only live by hurting others and wanting to be loved. Come on, Michael, aim for the goal." And Kaiser activates his Predator Eye, and he begins his run-up. And Kaiser finally says, "Pour all of my malice into this shot." The PhD goalkeeper says, "All right, here it comes." And Itsuki says, "Read it. Right corner or left?" And as Kaiser goes to shoot, Isagi begins his run. And Isagi says, "What you want to choose is," and Kaiser continues, "I always want to be one step ahead of your imagination." And Kaiser then focuses on the ball, and then he hits a Magnus shot with him saying, "I want a challenge to the impossible." And Isagi says, "It's coming," for the left corner, as Isagi begins to rush towards I guess it's more the right corner from this perspective. Like, from his, it's left, yeah, but like, anyways, but yeah. Isagi says, "Is the opposing goalkeeper reading it too?" And he says, "No, but that's why if you hit it and deflect it, it can go in. I can do it. A 2-gun volley." But then the ball begins to curve even more. Isagi says, "Huh? A more extreme curve than before? Are you for real?" He's aiming for the right corner while pretending to go for the left. We see the ball start to curve towards. And Isagi says, "Damn it, he got me, huh?" And then he looks over and he sees Loki begin his sprint. And he says, "Loki, he's moving after he sees it. Wait." And then he says, "No way, you've got to be kidding me." As Loki begins to rush in closer. And then Loki jumps in, and as he says, "That's not just human speed. It can't be explained by the logic I've built up." And Loki blocks the Magnus impact.
And I already called it like inhuman speed, because I believe like if Loki existed in real life, he'd be one of the most fastest runners on the planet.
Yeah. Like Usain Bolt who?
Yeah, because he reacted to the ball as it was already curving into the net. Then also comments on inhuman speed. He's clearly reaching record levels on a pitch.
Yeah. Anyways, the final thing of the chapter says, "This world calls this kind of sudden mutation a prodigy." And Loki's final remark of the chapter is, "The Kaiser impact, it's still too slow." With the final tagline of the chapter being, "Loki's Godspeed slaughters the Emperor's strike. Godspeed reduces everything to nothing." To be continued in the next chapter called Prodigy's Wall. So, what did you think of the chapter overall?
Right now, we got Loki cooking, and of course, our like obvious predictions. I feel like everyone guessed this usually, but like Loki was the only one that made sense to stop this, right? We didn't see him in pretty much the entirety of the last chapter.
Yeah,
and he's the only one who can probably speed on the opposing team who could speed blitz fast enough in order to get to the ball. If of course the Magnus makes sense as the shot in order to be unpredictable, so Loki proved his speed more so by reacting later to ensure that he gets the ball or goes to the place where the ball is going. So therefore, he's much faster than we would have expected.
Oh yeah. Who blocked the ball the first time? Lorenzo. He blocked Lightning Strike in Uber's match with his face. But even then, Lightning Strike I think is a significantly slower version, just because he's not executing it in the same way he would execute a normal Kaiser impact.
Not full body swing. It's literally just his leg swing.
Yeah. Like his leg swing is still fast. It's just he doesn't just charge up for one full swing with his full body. He kind of taps it to the side and then immediately strikes it. So there's not enough time for him to put his full body into that swing that quickly with that sudden action. But I feel like this is gonna sound weird. I feel like Isagi just is having too much time comprehending natural physical talent, which he shouldn't be struggling this much to understand Loki's speed. Like he's faced off against Loki before, so he knows how fast Loki is.
Not really.
Yeah, he did. Loki.
Well, no. He doesn't know the full extent. He's still unaware of Loki's like upper gears, right?
Yeah, but like he should still realize, like, yeah, he's fast. I should expect him to move fast. Like even if he's moving faster, like he's still fast, but he just doesn't seem like he's comprehending the entire concept of speed. Is my thing.
main character just does that though. They just take too long to fucking realize like, oh, I'm outmatched because of this or that. Because they want to build up the drama until he actually finds a solution. But it's going to be hard to find a solution against literal like speed.
Basically, Noah is the best regardless of who facilitates, and Loki needs Charles's crutch. I mean, not really. He doesn't really need Charles's crutch. Like, Loki is.
He just needs. He admitted that he needs Charles to surpass Noah at the moment.
Yeah, but he doesn't need Charles as a crutch to play by himself. Like,
nah, yeah,
Loki.
He's completely fine on his own. His dribbling go crazy with his fucking full speed.
Loki is Chiggity fully realized. Everything that Chiggity can do, Loki can do better. And Chiggity already doesn't need a passer. So just enhance that even more.
Yeah.
Like, it just comes down to, like... I feel like he's already understood... Like, the previous chapter when he had the ball stolen from him, he already had that realization of pure speed, pure physical sprinting power. Like, I don't know why he's not comprehend. He's like, I can't comprehend this again. Like, you didn't comprehend it before.
Yeah.
You still can't. It's like not, you didn't comprehend it and then now you can't do it again. You just didn't comprehend it to begin with.
We're still realizing, like, oh shit. Maybe out my element against this guy.
This is what I don't like about how they're doing this match, is that Isagi was being built up to be this character who, no matter what, he was gonna find a way out of it with his game IQ and meta vision and thought process, and just he's able to act quickly on decisions with meta vision, right? But
yeah,
now he was like, if it was like he was put out of like the spotlight, which is fine, I don't care about that. But it's the fact that they're now actively pulling him more and more away in a non-conventional or clean way to me. Like, they just keep reinforcing the idea over and over again. Like, yeah, we get it. He doesn't compare to Loki. You don't have to restate it 1,000 different ways. Like, yeah, he got the ball stolen from him and he realized there's nothing he can do against pure physical speed. And now right here, he's doing it again. If it happens again, it's just too excessive. Like,
he's gonna keep being surprised until he finds a way around it. That's the issue.
Yeah.
But this chapter has us focus on that because it's so fucking short. So
yeah. I also the next chapter is called The Prodigy's Wall. He calls Loki a prodigy here. Do you think there's gonna be some kind of hurdle he's gonna come up against, or do you think it's Charles, or do you think he's gonna realize something about it?
It's either the referral of the wall that is Loki, or the referral of which the wall in which Loki will have to face instead.
I think it's going to be one of those, like, he starts to monologue after. I think somebody is going to get the ball, a PhD defender or something, or maybe even like, because Tokimitsu, Zantetsu, and Karasu are all on the right side. They weren't preparing. They can't get to this dropped ball because it's by Isagi. I think a PhD defender, or even maybe Shido or Charles potentially, is going to get this ball, and they're going to start to push up. And Isagi is going to go into some kind of monologue of like, there's like, between me and Loki, I can see that there's a huge gap, but there's just this giant wall blocking myself from getting to that point, and he needs to find a way to get past that wall, like, in just terms of like, he's missing one piece, he's missing a piece.
He needs to look for the wall's blind spot. Am I right?
Yeah, he needs someone who can help him overcome that wall, the same way that Loki needs Charles to overcome Noah. He needs someone, and this is where I think you'll get Kiora and you'll get Ness as those pieces, because Ness in his base value is one of the best passers in the series. Bro does not have meta vision. He does not have like that passing vision Charles has. He's just a naturally good passer. And people don't regard him as such because he doesn't have meta vision. But as a base player, take away all the vision abilities, Ness is one of the best passers. I would say take away Metavision from Hiyori and Charles, I would say that Ness is better than them in terms of that regard.
Even so, I'd pick Ness over Hiyori and Charles. Because Ness has also just the highest stat distribution. Like, out of passes as well.
What is Ness? Like a 90? I think he's like an S90.
What was Kaiser?
Kaiser's 98.
98. I saw, so like Kunigami's 93.
No, that's Kunigami's 91.
91. Ness was second at the beginning. If that was the last time we saw Kunigami's stats was the 91, Ness was higher than that.
Ness had not made any assists, no good passing feats. Yes, he has.
He has. He literally has. Not in this match, no, but like he's made assists.
Like he did in the Barcha game. His first game, he assisted Kaiser.
In the Manshan game.
And I hope you realize that the only reason that he's starting to get less and less time, he's starting to get less and less assists, is because Bastion München is getting taken over by Isagi, who's actively trying to shut down Kaiser's plays by intercepting Ness's passes. And two, like there's been other better players. Like Chigiri went in and intercepted the pass, and then you have Chigiri who intercepted the pass, Isagi's intercepted the pass, Rain has intercepted passes.
My argument for Ness currently is what I would just say, like in terms of the duo dynamic of Kaiser and Ness, like you would have great pass chemistry, but like what the issue is, it's predictable because Ness doesn't have one of those different types of abilities that allow him to do something wildly different.
But like Ness is still on base passing is one of the best ones because he doesn't have any kind of unique vision, but he's still able to pass incredibly well.
Yeah.
Nothing impressive like Sai or Hiyori. That's why I'm saying get rid of Metavision. And Sai's still the best passer, but Ness is better than Hiyori if you take away Metavision.
Yeah.
U20 Hiyori or even third selection Hiyori, Ness is still better than him at passing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what's so difficult to understand about that.
It's not really a debate because I feel like there's only like very few people that disagree that Ness is a worse passer than Hiyori and Charles.
Yeah. I think but I think Ness and Kiora are his pieces that he needs to.
After watching my theory video.
Well, yeah, that and also like they haven't done anything really. Like Ness hasn't done anything since he broke up with Kaiser, and then Kiora hasn't done anything since he assisted Kaiser. Like I think they deserve a little bit more screen time, especially since they were highlighted to play this. Like Kiora himself was highlighted to play this match. Like it makes sense to me. But you guys gonna talk about the new Egoist Bible Volume 2 info? Not on this stream, potentially on the next one. I'm gonna try and make a video for next weekend where I go over all of the information provided by the Egoist Bible, so you can have it all in one video of easy, like clean, simple access.
I don't have enough time to even do that kind of video, so I'm just gonna watch yours.
Yeah. But we can talk about it on live maybe next week. It just depends because there is a lot of information. We have over 20 different character profiles, and just like going off of like my usual script writing. When I write a script, how I have my font and how I have it sized, one page usually comes out to be about 1 minute. One character profile alone is about a page and a half. Yeah. And we have about 20 different character profiles.
It sounds like a good long video for you.
It is, but it's a matter of getting it done by getting it done by
upload it.
Be uploaded Saturday.
Yeah, you could. If you need help, I'll help out. Just let me know.
It's not. I just need to write it down. Is the concern? Editing it is not going to be a problem because it'll be very simple to edit. It's just going to be a matter of typing it out because I can't copy paste it because they're images on Shadow's Twitter. So I have to manually look back and forth between each page and type it out.
How about this big dog. I will share me your script doc, and I will help you.
Bet Raven, I will absolutely kiss you. Yeah, but like I think all of the U20 team got one. They just have. I think as far as I'm aware, all of the U20 members got one. They just haven't all been posted yet.
Yeah.
Sai has Metavision promise. See, that's another thing I want to talk about. Right? Is that the argument of Sai having Metavision isn't exactly credible, because the only evidence people contributed is that Isagi said is when he was talking about Metavision. Oh, is that what Itoshi Sai was doing? But during the Ubers match, he also believed that Lorenzo could have Metavision, which he doesn't.
Yeah. It's just some things in actual Blue Lock are labeled as accurate and some aren't. Like, you remember when Kurina labeled like the value of each time someone gets a goal, which was completely incorrect.
Yeah. Also, in relation to episode 2 of the anime, we will be talking about that later. It's just a matter of we have the episode Nagi to go through as well. Ness has been missing for a couple chapters. I forgot he was on the field, to be honest. Yeah, I agree. I like the story, but he has a very hard problem. Nomura and Kaneshiro have a problem with giving all characters a good amount of screen time and game time.
Yeah,
it's hard to do.
It comes down to the problem of like when you make so many of the characters like viable components on the field, you're going to forget about like quite a few. You can't include everyone as the main character focus. That's the issue with like if you went from the U20 match, they had to focus primarily on the strikers of BLUELOCK and Sai, and then the U20 defenders.
Yeah.
That was where their main focuses was. But when it comes to a match like this, which is like so drawn out, this match alone is fucking massive. Yeah, that's good. Forget about characters, especially in shorter chapters like this, where they can't put more information in.
Yeah, it's also hard to do it in relation to other sports anime like Haikyuu or Kuroko Basket, because there's significantly less characters that matter. Like it's in Kuroko's Basket, it's 5-on-5, so there's 10 characters total, and because it's basketball, the ball is moving around so much with them. And in Haikyuu, the same thing. You can only touch the ball 3 times, so after 3 touches of your team, it's gonna go over to the other team. So then your perspective then shifts to those other characters. So then it only cuts down to 6 because you're focusing on those 6 characters. And then it'll go back and forth and whatever. But in Blue Lock, it isn't typical soccer because the styles are more self-sufficient of the characters. There's not a lot of passing between them. And there's a lot of monologuing. Like in shows like Kuroko's Basket and Haikyuu, there isn't a lot of monologuing because they have to move so fast. 3 touches in Haikyuu for volleyball, and then with basketball, they're constantly making shots or they're constantly making plays. With soccer as a sport and football, there's the chances of scoring points is a lot lower than in other sports. So it's a lot harder, and there's going to be a lot more time in between, and there's not going to be enough to get every single character, if you know what I mean. Like, your perspective shifts. It's a weird dynamic. You're not cutting to all of your characters as frequently. But I don't know. That's just how I perceive it.
Anyway, what would you rate this chapter?
We both predicted Loki was coming, so I think that's a cool thing. Like, yeah, it happened.
Yeah, he is coming. Yeah.
I don't like the perspectives of the art because it's very inconsistent in some degrees. Like, it's not fully accurate, I guess would be the way to describe it. So like here, I'll show you what I mean. So like going back to when Kaiser actually fired the Magnus, you can see Loki at the, is this the goal box? This would be the goal box, right? I'd say he's at the goal box line. The line just, but when we see Isagi go over to the opposite corner and Loki starts to run, it appears that Loki's directly behind him running towards Isagi. when in actuality he should be running from a different he should be running like away from Isagi because they're running at different angles. He could be running in the same direction, but you shouldn't be running in a way that looks like it's running he's running past Isagi. That's where I think it kind of fumbled a bit, is the perspective and the inconsistencies about range and such. Again, though, about the I would say that this chapter is great. I liked Loki blocking the Kaiser impact. I think it was a cool thing of like he was the only one who could do it, and it was like the first one to actually stop technically a full powered impact. But
yeah,
I would say like 8 out of 10. I think it's a decent chapter.
Give it an 8.2.
8.2. What puts it at that 0.2? What gives it the 0.2?
The 0.2 is that that is a good panel for Loki to be colored in.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest though, a lot of the art from this chapter I didn't find very nice. Like I wouldn't personally color. I wouldn't want to color any of the panels from this chapter. Like,
yeah, but that's probably due to your style in comparison to other people's.
Yeah, it's also just what I don't think the drawing the panels themselves. The moments were cool. I just don't think I'd want to draw the panels. Like Loki blocking the Kaiser impact. It was all right. I just think it looks a little. I wouldn't want to draw it. And then same thing with the Magnus impact that Kaiser shoots. It's not as cool as his other one. So I personally wouldn't want to do that in my mind, but that's just me. Overall, I'd say the chapter's like a solid 8. The next chapter is called The Prodigy's Wall. We could either continue with it being this one or even cut to
the match continues after the third kick. So
what's up?
The match continues after the free kick, so the ball depends on where it goes to.
Yeah. I'm just saying the next chapter, Prodigy's Wall, could I'm always saying because I'm coping, could go to Nagi and Rayo because they basically hit a wall.
Your capital C coping right now.
Yeah, but like, am I wrong in assuming like
you're saying this for every single chapter?
No, but I know, but like I'm saying just like does it not? A lot of these chapters line up with good points to drift away because we're already towards the final act of this game, and we haven't even seen the game that's supposed to come before. Probably not. I'm just saying, like, does it sound like something Ryo would say, like we've hit a wall or something like that?
Yeah, yes, but I'm not gonna cope anymore.
I give up on assuming it's gonna happen. I'm just saying that's a possibility I could see.
Yeah, you know I'm gonna guess the flow of this next chapter. Isagi's gonna fucking yap, run towards the ball. The ball gets picked up by a member of PXG. They start their counter attack. Then that'll be the end of the chapter. we could get a Gagamaru moment, like if say the ball goes to like Charles hits a pass to Shido, and Gagamaru gets a block. Or Gagamaru absolutely kicks Shido in the face, making him fat Shido.
Oh yeah, fat Shido. But yeah, so I'd say this chapter was an 8 out of 10. And you say 8.2?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Now we move on to actual hype.
Now we get to episode Nagi.
Which peak at the moment. Peak stuff.
Honestly, like episode Nagi has been great so far. I gotta fix the cropping on this. Or better yet, here, let me just...
I really like Karasu. Ero has no taste. True. Ero doesn't like good characters.
You're so right. Show me any evidence of Karasu being good, and I'll just, you know. Karasu's overrated for you? Yeah, he's overrated as fuck.
That one time that Karasu spoke.
Yeah, you can.
I like.
You can like him or not. I just don't know why, because he hasn't had any really good showings aside from the third selection, and even recently he's been mid.
Well, no, people are allowed to like the characters even if they haven't had a good showing. Like,
Yeah.
some people's favorite characters are like characters that have barely been seen.
Like Ego Goody.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we'll go part by part we'll go through part 1 of the episode Nagi side story, and then we'll do a discussion what we like about it, and then we'll go into part 2, finish it up, give our rating, and then we'll jump into the episode review. But yeah, so chapter is chapter 27. It is called Fakeroo. We pick up where we left off with Kiora scoring his goal, and Zantetsu says we're even so far, and Badr says 3 more points, and Chigiri says time for the second half. Nagi says let's get up there, Team White, and Nagi passes the ball to Zantetsu to start their chemical reaction again. Chigiri and Zantetsu begin to press with their double speed, double wing beat. I think it was dual sprint wing beat or something like that. And Kiora says the same trick, huh? And Kodansha says don't charge in, hold the line. And they begin to pull back on defense. And Chigiri says these guys, they changed up their defensive line after that one play. They're avoiding a sprint battle against us. And he continues by saying, by drawing back as they wait to see what we'll do. And Chigiri continued by thinking, that's clever. We were planning to shake each of them off with pure speed, but now we need to get past them all at once. This pattern is... And she says, this pattern is too. And then Nagi runs in from the side and says, Princess, use me in your imagination. And he says, Nagi's charging in their defensive line. This gives me new options. He says, okay, right there. With your height, I can make... He says, right there, Nagi. With your height, I can make a lob past the defenders. Nagi jumps, and he goes to trap the ball. And Kodansha says, not bad for an ad-lib, but it's still a mediocre idea. And Nagi says, whoa, this crow guy is sharp. He's got such a read on things. Nagi then traps it with his foot and says, but I can get past him, as he grabs the ball. Honestly, is this the first time we've seen Nagi use his black hole trap as, like, a suction? In a way of, like, grabbing and moving it? Like, he always kind of redirects the ball or just kills it entirely. It seems here like he's actually just, like, using it to hold the ball and is moving his foot with it at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, by the way, TDA, Shido is definitely overrated. Shido was 100% overrated. But anyways. Continue. Nagi says, but I can get past him. And Kodansha says, gotcha, as Atoya comes in and snatches the ball from Nagi by kicking it away. Atoya says, that was close. A last-minute ground slide attack. And Nagi says, these two are incredible at defensive combos too. Nagi screams second ball, and Aiki gets the ball and says, check it out. Well, everybody, are you ready for my turn? And we start to go into a monologue where Aiki Himizu has a natural gift for seeing through lies. When he was a child, his parents' love for each other had grown cold, but in an effort to not show that at home, they acted like a good mother and father. What is real? What is a lie? This was when Aiki Himizu acquired his habit of constantly doubting other people's facial expressions. What are they really thinking? I want to know what's real. Tell me what's real. As those feelings grew, they shaped his personality. People tell lots of lies. Kind lies, self-defensive lies, self-assertive lies. And we have 2 characters saying, it's okay, I'm fine, and yeah, I've been him before, while showing, obviously, clear expressions. He says, human personalities are formed out of those personas. So Aiki Himizu learned to take pleasure in seeing through others' lies and exposing their true feelings. Now Chigiri comes in and decides to match up against him, and he says, I can still move, bring it on you, forked tongue. And Aiki says, oh, you're one to talk, you little liar. As he begins to do some step over feints. Chigiri keeps up with him, and he says he's going to do a step over feint and then make a pass. And then he says, a rolling feint? He's good at this. And Aiki says, goodbye. No, and then Chigiri continues by saying, normally he'd have enough distance to get away, but that's not enough. I can reach you with my speed. And he presses him again. And he feints again. And he says, I know. Chigiri says, another feint? Damn it. If he gets past me, he'll be right at the goal. I've got to stop him. As Chigiri goes to turn, and we hear a creaking sound come from his leg. Nagi then screams, stop it, princess. Don't chase him or else you'll break. Chigiri then freezes in his place, and Aiki says, oh, you're getting sloppy? It's totally obvious. You're at your limit, you idiot. So long, redhead speedster. I am the master of fake. So he scores a goal. Kodansha says, nice one, Himizu. Nobody can pull one over on the genius of lies. And Himizu says, I'm just an honest guy who wants to know what's real. But that redhead sure sucks at lying. He's so worn out that his moves are clearly getting worse. Nagi then continues by saying he'll be done so soon enough. He's a princess, are you okay? And he says, yeah, sorry Nagi, there's no way they were actually targeting my knee, but that bend just now was dangerous. I'm low on stamina and the feeling in my knee still isn't totally back, but I can still do a few more all-out sprints. And Nagi says, you can't be serious. It's really gonna break. And he says, what are you saying, Nagi? My leg or your dream? Which is more important? I really appreciate you worrying about me, but is that really a reason to justify losing? You're gonna beat Isagi, right? You don't want things to end here. You can't win if you're being kind for someone else. You can't survive here unless you're living for your own ego. That's what Blue Lock is. I don't mind breaking if it's for the sake of my dream, so you should do what you won't regret. Go towards what fires you up. What fires me up, and that's the end of part 1. So, what did you think of part 1 of the episode Nagi Chapter?
So I like of course Himizu's now getting of course his development finally. So they make these characters who have nothing going for them later on have quite a bit of like pizzazz to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically the best painter that we've seen in the series, not including like any professionals.
Yeah. He's just skilled at doing feints, but that seems to be all he can do is just feint, and at some point it's gonna get predictable. Yeah.
So yeah, I especially like the moment of the fact of like Nagi as a person is evolving and a sort of like maturing in a way, being very considerate, being actually caring about people's well-beings and in the way just always look out for them. He's becoming the Isagi focus of his team.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is actually going to be his downfall. He's playing too much to be like Isagi, where he is probably going to fail as when the role comes in the World 5 match.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I like this chapter not only just because it feels a lot longer. I feel like I feel like the episode Nagi chapter in itself is like 4 times the size of a normal one. Because this part 1 felt like double the length of a normal chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And the art itself is just so good. Like check it.
Well, the time goes. Well, the time goes, man.
Yeah, well they're different artists. The guy who's doing the episode Nagi manga was the original artist for Blue Lock before. I think kind of.
You can tell he's improved drastically since then.
Oh yeah, incredibly. Like I think I would say that his style I like it better than the main storyline.
Yeah.
Especially how he does the auras.
Agree.
But there's a lot of talk in chat about whether Shido's overrated. We've had this debate so many times.
I'd rather not address it. I leave it the opinion of Shido is overrated. Check out any one of Era's videos when he talks about Shido. He's done a bunch of shorts. He has literally an overrated Shido video. Just check those out for an explanation.
Yeah.
Can't
Please.
Do this every fucking stream.
Yeah, I don't. Only thing I will say is that Shido is an overrated character whose feats amount to nothing individually, at least currently. When he was first introduced, that's a different story, but everyone has improved drastically since he was introduced. And they're not the same characters anymore. Shido still is, and that's why he is overrated and does not compare to other players. That's where I'm going to leave it at. But so far, what was your favorite panel of this chapter?
Your break.
I
feel like that's mostly everyone's favorite panel of don't go after him, Chigiri. Your break.
That actually wasn't my favorite of this part so far.
No,
honestly,
I said most people.
Yeah, most people. Yeah.
Saying you.
This is also we also haven't gotten a double spread yet. By the way.
No.
Interesting. But I think that my favorite is the one of Chigiri declaring his ego, like him crouched down. I think that's just overall it's a good character. It's a good character page. I love when they do character pages like when Isagi awakened what I called Omnivision. That was basically that to me was the Isagi panel. And I like where pages focus on one character so you get a full view of them and an ambition or their aura or whatever. So I think that I like those kinds of pages.
Fair.
Another arguing about Isagi being overrated because if we argue Shido, well, whatever, we won't get into that. But
I cannot be bothered anymore.
No. But anyways, going into part 2. Barū says, you guys are too naive. Dreams this, no regrets that. If that was enough to win, I'd be the king of the world already, you dumbass. Nagi says, Barū, and he continues. Try to remember what is this fight? What are we? Is this a final match to prove we're the strongest? Are we buddies who are boasting each other to success? That ain't it. We're just losers who just happen to end up on the same team. We're a group of table scraps. It sucks ass, but this is our true reality. The reality is we're at a disadvantage and almost out of options. Now imagine how much it would suck if we lost here. If this team loses someone else, do you really think we have a shot of winning our way back up? I don't want to say it, but I'll at least acknowledge that you guys have real talent and skills. If we lose here, I doubt we'll find anyone better. So get rid of your aesthetics and rationally devote all abilities towards winning, even if it's uncool. Hopes and dreams aren't enough for real motivation. We need to crush the worst future in which we can lose here. So turn that despair into energy. Now this is a Barū panel I've ever seen one. That is.
It's also like a very sick Barū speech, should say. And he's not wrong with the way of like, oh, we can probably not find anyone else if we lose in terms of talent. Like he's not wrong. Like who else passed?
Like Barū has
he's there, but like
like
anyway.
Barū is a character who is arrogant and does not change from his arrogant personality. However, he's written in such a way that despite this negative quality, it's viewed as a positive one. Like his very egotistical, self-centered I am above all personality, for some reason, like it just seems so good. Also, what? Hold on, no, we're addressing this. Fuck you. Can Raven have his own opinion? He just seems like if Arrow speaks, Raven is nodding his head in agreement. Arrow's videos are biased. The second he decides he doesn't like a character at all, logic doesn't matter. You don't nod. Don't just nod and agree with him. You're proving his point.
Opinion. Can Raven have his own opinion? Just seems if he's nodding his head in agreement. But I pretty much have almost the exact same opinions as Arrow, which is why I'm nodding my head. We are two content creators who share very similar opinions.
Like, we share very similar opinions, yes, but here's the thing. You want to say my videos are biased. I provide you evidence. Like, in all of my videos talking about overrated or underrated, where I am giving my own personal opinion on whether I think they're overrated or underrated, I provide you evidence to prove my argument of why I believe this. Right? Like, you want to say that, like, oh, your videos are biased. The majority of people's personal videos talking about their opinion on something are going to be biased because, you know, it's their opinion. Like, yeah. I don't like Karasu, Otoya, or Shido, not because I think they're overall bad players, but because they're written in a way that makes them bad. They're not utilizing the fullest of their abilities and their potential that they could be using.
We're going to get some like territory of what it means to be YouTubers, right? What it means to be YouTubers is that we hold our own opinion accountable throughout it all. We voice our own opinion for people to consume, either to agree or disagree. And then our job to back up this opinion would be to provide evidence that supports this opinion. Because otherwise we'd just be arguing for the sake of course, just hating on the character for no apparent reason. So when it comes to a statement of, like, Shido is overrated, we have evidence to back that up. But when it comes down to what our favorite characters are, we can reference some things in terms of, like, what our opinion of favorite characters are. But then again, that comes down to our own personal bias, because at the end of the day, it's our favorite characters, it's our personal list. But when we say, like, Shido is overrated, you don't have to agree. You don't have to agree with that. We will state this, and you don't have to agree. You're not sheep. You have your own opinion. You come up with your own opinion through your own research. If you don't believe Shido is overrated, completely fine. We just say that because that's what we believe.
Like, and again, you're not forced to watch my stuff. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You can disagree with me, or you could just not watch my content. Frankly, I don't care if your opinion is different than mine. If your opinion is different, awesome, dude. You got your own opinion. But I have mine. I will say this about Shido. I think Shido had the potential to be what Nagi is being made to be. But he's not written that way. Shido has been, when he was introduced, was written as this character who, despite being this instinctual and very aggressive player, he still thinks, and he still is very knowledgeable about other people and other characters and their skills and how they play and such. He was able to immediately figure out Kunigami and Ryo's abilities like that, right? But in the latest arc, being the NEL, specifically this match, the PXG match, when Shido scored his first goal, that wasn't what bothered me. It's the fact that you have him getting locked down by Kunigami and doing absolutely nothing to try and get away. Like, after Isagi's goal, or after Kaiser's goal, it was one of their goals, Karasu and Zantetsu said, we need to try and peel Kunigami off of Shido. But they didn't do any of that. Like, if Karasu is working with Shido because Karasu is a technical and analytical player, if Shido just took the time to be like, listen, I'm gonna, Karasu and Shido had the discussion of like, listen, we are going to pull Shido away from you, that way you can play your way. But not once does Shido try to do any kind of change of style to get away from Kunigami. He just constantly tries to force his way through until it works. And with Kunigami, it wasn't gonna work. Right? Like, we see that in the U20 match, that when Ryo decided to mark him, rather than pushing to the opposite side of the field where Ryo isn't, and forcing Ryo out of position, you're instead gonna keep charging through the one side and just hoping he breaks. That's not gonna work with Kunigami. If he worked with Karasu, he would have had a better opportunity to get away and then play his style where he can shoot as frequently as he does and all this stuff.
That's kind of funny, though.
What?
I was just mad because I ship Hirio with Rafe.
I'm pissed at that. He is my Pookie Bear. Also, listen, you're saying Hirio over me? I don't care. I know he's better. The sub count is all I need to tell me that.
Sub count isn't the proof of being better.
I don't care if you think he's better than me. He was my inspiration when making content. I love his style, so I tried to copy it myself, and I'm trying to keep a similar style, and I want to keep people engaged and enjoy content.
Is the shipping dynamic between me and you kind of like the Isagi and Bachelor, and
100%
between me and Hirio are Isagi and Rin?
No, the entire dynamic between you and me is Sai and Shido. Because you are this chill, calm ass motherfucker, and I am this pissy, aggressive dude who does not stop.
Oh, no one! You're calling yourself overrated.
I am. Yeah. Listen, you can disagree with him or just agree with him all you want. Hideo has some good takes, but he also said that Isagi was better than Kaiser. So, like,
me shaking my head. SMH. We both said what, and then literally like a few chapters after, Isagi flat out said, "Oh, Kaiser's better than me."
Yeah. Also, yeah, they just brought it up. Shido scored bicycle kick only because Gagamaru wasn't at the goalpost. Otherwise, it would have been an easy catch. Yeah. The situation that gave Shido the opportunity to score that Big Bang Drive was because every aspect of that situation was perfect for Shido. That's how it works.
Hirio is very energetic, which makes him fun to watch. Yeah, I can't match that energy. No. Fucking way. I'm way too down to my fucking seat to ever be that hype on a video.
And here's the thing: if you guys like his style, I personally started trying to copy his style in a way with his videos and such, and I'll talk to him. I've wanted to talk to him about video editing myself, and like, hey, I want to try and get a style that's similar to you. Do you have any tips of how I can get from where I'm at to closer to where you are in terms of like retainment? Because you guys actively go to his channel and view his stuff a lot, even those who aren't subscribed, because he has 30k subs and sometimes he's getting 50k views. I want to have that kind of ratio for my stuff. If I only have 4.5k, which is still a lot, but I want to hit 6k on my viewership. I want to know what puts me to that point.
Yeah, I mean, everyone takes inspiration from other YouTubers in terms of building their content, building their formula. It's called adapting to the algorithm, really. And Hirio is great at with his current content that he's adapting to the algorithm of like just quick notion, quick intros, high energy, high intensity. I can't match that, so I've gone with my own style, which is quite mellow and explains very well. But my scripts are like specifically detailed to where I am able to explain every one of my points without fail. And then there's also the aspect of we are a community of people who get along with each other as friends, so therefore we are free to of course ask permission to do something in which another person does. For example, I did the thumbnails in which Onyx shout out to Onyx, I did the thumbnails in which Onyx did for my alignment videos back when I first started to blow up initially for my channel. I basically copied his thumbnail style, which allowed me to blow up. I asked permission to use his thumbnail style, in which isn't exclusive to him, but I felt like it was being respectful because I was watching him, and his thumbnails were simplistic and ones that I could replicate. So I asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, go for it." So that's how I got my startup. We're all helping each other. I'm pretty sure most BLUELOCK content creators are friends with one another. So there's no issues here.
Yeah, like we have a whole Discord chat of over 10 content creators who actively just chill, talk, usually on the daily. Like we all communicate with each other. We all talk about latest videos and thoughts and the chapters and the episodes. Like yesterday after the episode dropped, we all joined a call and just started talking about the episode. Like
mostly mad.
yeah. And again, here's the thing. Vortex, you're right. YouTube is not easy to start. You have to get incredibly lucky. Like the work itself isn't
YouTube is harder than your 9 to 5.
No, it is. No, YouTube is never hard.
I remember that video.
There is no amount of YouTube streaming that will ever be harder than a 9 to 5. It will never be harder than a 9 to 5. There is no aspect.
I have a 9 to 5, so
it will never be harder than a 9 to 5. But it's not about the work being hard. It's about the work getting lucky with your work being recognized. You could make an insanely high quality video, but if it doesn't meet the algorithm, like it's not going to do good. You need to be incredibly lucky with how you're doing it. Like I'm not going to say Raven's luckier than I am, but because Raven's your content's so good, bro. But like it's the matter of it took me a year to get to 1,000. It took Raven what you said, 4 months? How long did it take you?
So I hit it back in July, I'm pretty sure, or August. So it has been 4 months-ish.
And it took him 4 months to get where it took me a year. But in the year that from when I hit 1,000 to right now, my content has gone up by my sub count has gone up by 450%. So it's a matter of you have to get incredibly lucky with it.
You're hitting that you gotta hit that algorithm space. You gotta be that recommended for the audience that actually watches Blue Lock content. By the way, Raven, your voice be heard. He won't hurt you in front of her. Yeah, he's actually captured me. He's forcing me to be a part of this.
So you see why he doesn't have an avatar? It's because I have him locked in my dungeon with a microphone and a laptop.
It only peeled my face off.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be YouTube friendly.
Yeah, he looked like Freddy Krueger, but like.
Yeah.
Raven Cougar.
Blink twice. Blink twice. My character's blinking right now.
just cough twice. Cough twice so it goes.
Help me.
Help me. I've been captured. But, yeah. Bottom line is, YouTube is not an easy thing to do. In terms of in terms of startup. The content itself is not. Making the content isn't hard. It's getting lucky with the stuff. That's the difficult part, I'd say. When I say it's hard, it's just getting lucky. That's all it is to it.
The interesting comparison which I have, I look to different platforms when it comes to how hard it is for them to grow their channel initially. So YouTube in comparison to Twitch, for example, apparently this was a random statistic I found. It was around 97% of Twitch streamers aren't affiliate, which is crazy. But there's obviously more YouTube users, and a majority of those YouTubers who do YouTube content have not been monetized or have not meet the requirements for monetization. So you'd say the majority of people who are doing YouTube have not hit that mark.
Yeah,
I'm very fortunate to be able to hit that mark, especially tackling a niche topic, and pretty much only a niche topic, which comes to Blue Lock, because Blue Lock isn't as popular as some of the animes, manga series like
One Piece,
Dragon Ball, Naruto, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, stuff like that. So I'm very fortunate for the position that I'm in, and I'm very thankful. I appreciate everyone's support. Was I lucky? Fuck yeah. I feel like everyone who succeeds on YouTube who hasn't had a career before YouTube, who literally just starts on YouTube and starts making videos, they have an element of luck in which they grasp on, but that's because of their own hard work that they're able to capitalize on it and grow with it. Some people just have one-time big hits and then completely fall off because they aren't able to grasp on that opportunity, whilst Blue Lock content creators like me, Ero, Hirio, have grasped on the opportunity to grow and keep growing along with the series.
Yeah. If you go to Hirio's oldest video, his very first video on Blue Lock hit 30k views. Now, was his video good? Yeah, it was a great video. But that was he got incredibly lucky with the algorithm.
Tell me about it.
I'm
pretty sure Onyx's video was very similar.
Yeah. I can say the same thing about my first video as well. My very first video was my video talking about why I believe Ayana Koji would be the perfect Kira from Death Note. I think he'd fit the role of Kira better than Light would. That was my third video, and it to this day is my second most viewed video. It has 24k views. It hit 10k views within the first 2 days. And that was my third video. So it's a matter of getting lucky with your algorithm, the topics you talk about, how popular something is right now. Here's the thing: if you want to start making content, I would not fully suggest jumping into something incredibly relevant and popular. I would suggest doing that after you already have some kind of audience, because you have a substantial audience who comes to view your stuff, but also pushes your videos out to the algorithm, while also bringing in those new people from the current topics. If I was just starting now, I wouldn't want to talk about the latest chapter stuff.
I'd be depressed.
Just because it just wouldn't make sense. Because no one knows me. Who cares about some random person's thoughts? But if I build up an audience with unique video ideas and topics, then you have those people who come for your personal like entertainment, and then you go into doing stuff.
Yeah, I also point out, like, I didn't get lucky off an initial bat. Like, my first 4 videos, were only getting traction from my friends who were just trying to support me, and of course my 5th video was the one that blew up. I assume due to like the interest of the topic, because the alignments of characters, no one ever talks about like alignments when it comes to certain characters. And like Blue Lock is especially a specific case, and people probably didn't even know what the video was until they clicked on it in D&D.
Yeah, it just comes down here and just, you know, luck, in my opinion. Luck, skill, a little bit of luck, and a lot of luck, a little bit of hard work and skill. Like 2020, it's like 2020 60 luck, 20 skill, 20% hard work, in my opinion. At least to get started. And then like for you, Trishula, like you said, it takes you like 30 hours to make a video.
Past the luck stage, you basically past the luck stage, past the initial luck stage. It then takes like, of course, more skill and more hard dedication rather, to be able to grasp on that luck and grow with the sort of the fortune of being on the algorithm. So when I made my first alignment video, I made more. They weren't as popular. No, they weren't as popular. But it was my way of grasping on the hype. And there's a reason why I haven't made my final alignment video on the masses, is because it was popular of a series by the end of it.
Yeah.
By my final alignment video. So that was just all.
And then I would say this. Here's the thing: is that like Trishula, you said it takes you like 30 hours to make one video. That's because your videos are so good with information. You compile so much information and so much sources from not just the manga, but also from real life sources that takes a lot of extra time to go through. Because like I can read through the entire story and find my things, but finding realistic outside sources in literature history or historical literature is a lot more difficult than just finding a moment of that could lead to Sai having Metavision. It's a lot harder to do with what you do. So it takes you 30 hours. Editing a video like my what if Blue Locker selected alternative strategies video. That was a 12-minute video. That took me from start to finish, writing my script, recording my audio, editing, and exporting my video till it was fully uploaded. Probably took me maybe 8 hours in total. So it also just depends on what you talk about. Yeah, it also just depends on what you talk about. Like
it like some videos take very little time to do. Like my review, genuinely, like that I uploaded today. I already had the script written down from yesterday, which only took me like about an hour. Because it was a fairly short script. I already had like reaction recordings from when I first did the episode. That video in total probably took me like only like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to fully edit and get uploaded. But my analysis videos of like the impact of Michael Kaiser or the monster of Megalobachira, those genuinely have taken me months. Like months of work of getting the panels, resources, adapting the scripts to the specific manga script, text, whatever. Just so much time and effort. Do those pay off as much? No, not really, but I'm glad that I do them because it allows me to expand on different varieties of content, and I plan to do more analysis videos in the future, even if they're not as successful, because I enjoy doing them, even if they're a shit ton of work.
Yeah, it just comes down to, do you enjoy what you do? If you do, it doesn't feel like that much. It won't feel like work. No matter how long it takes you, if you enjoy it, it won't feel like work. That's how it feels for me. But
the best videos are unscripted ones.
No, I disagree.
Yeah, no, maybe. I don't know. It depends on the type of content you watch, because unscripted videos are mainly gaming videos.
We can't unscript what we talk about. Like,
yeah. Honestly, we need scripts in order to read off of, to express opinions to a full amount, because otherwise it will just be a lot of it's just a bunch of pauses. It would just be super annoying to edit out. If we have like a find out detailed script laid in front of us that we read off of, it's completely fine. In my case, I literally just said there because I was trying to think of the next sentence. Yeah. But in my case, I take hours to audio record because my scripts are like so specifically tuned to my talking style, and whenever I do my audio recordings I get self-conscious about my talking.
Yeah.
And I keep trying to be a perfectionist about it. That's actually the longest process in like any of one of my things. Like script writing may take like ages and gathering resources, but like audio recording takes way longer than it should.
Yeah. I don't know, but anyway, that was our small little talk about YouTube and such, and you know how we do. Let's get back to the chapter, and we can continue if we need to, because we have been held on this for like 15 minutes. We went from Baru's speech to giving our own about YouTube. But again, though, Baru's speech, I love how Baru is written. He's a character that has negative qualities that are written to be in a positive light, and I like that even though he believes himself to be on top of everything, like on top of everyone in terms of skill and superiority and such, he still acknowledges that all these characters are very talented and skillful in their own right. Like, he's not ashamed in himself to admit that. So I think that's a nice aspect in my opinion. But how long do I'll explain like the Arsenal video thing after. Arsenal videos don't nearly take me as long. But anyway, so Baru says, so turn that despair into energy. And Zantetsu says, I see, that's kind of cool. Julie says, win even if it's uncool. And Nagi says, okay, King, we'll try that philosophy to bust through reality. Imagine despair as he passes the ball over to Chigiri, and him and Zantetsu begin to rush down the field. Aiki says, that move again? And they've branched off. And Otoya says, oh, they split up? Kodansha says, guess they finally changed things up. Keep an eye on both sides. And Shigiri says, I can't do multiple full speed sprints anymore, so even if it is uncool, I'll use this speed as bait. Aiki runs over to press Shigiri and says, I won't let you have this side. Shigiri says, I'll wait till he accelerates to match me, and then abruptly stop and make a pass to the open far side, where Shigiri passes the ball over to Zantetsu. Zantetsu says, there it is. I don't know what the logical thing to do is, but I'm supposed to do the best I can, even if it's uncool, right? Zantetsu Tsurugi become a pawn for the sake of a goal, as he passes the ball over to Baru, and he starts sprinting down the field. Baru says, that's it, idiot four eyes, now run. And Baru passed the ball back to Zantetsu. And Otoya says, Baru passed it back again. He could have shot on his own, but he set up another play. Zantetsu says, this sort of simple task is my specialty, as he crosses the ball over, and Otoya screams, damn, cover the center. Nagi traps the ball with the outside of his foot. Kodansha says, I'm on him, box him in Kiora. Kiora comes in to try and pressure him from below, while Kodansha pressures him from above. Nagi says, logically, devote all of her abilities towards winning. He then knee traps the ball. Kiora says, a knee trap. And Kodansha says, dumbass, you aren't going to shoot. Nagi then does his hammock style kick, where instead of a goal, he passes it and he says, it's uncool, but this is the option that crushes our worst future. And he passes the ball straight to Baru. Baru says, see, you losers can do it too if you try. And Nagi says, it sucks ass, but do it, King. This is how losers smash through reality and turn the tables. As Baru scores a goal for the very first double spread of this chapter. Which honestly, Baru's aura always looks so good during goals, in my opinion. I don't think Baru has a single bad goal panel.
Yeah, you can't get much better than a Baru Red Lightning.
Yeah. How's a bicycle kick uncool? He's not saying the bicycle kick is uncool. He's saying it's uncool to pass to Baru. That's what he's saying is uncool.
Yeah. I mean, doing a bicycle kick in any amount is not really uncool.
Yeah. Anyways, Chigiri, Baru, and Zantetsu are all screaming because of their goal. Kiora says they drop their personal egos. Aiki says they align their objectives to win, huh? What a drag. And Otoya says, isn't that kind of bad? Kodansha says, we're totally even, huh? Shit, talk about a surprising final match. Let's have ourselves an exceptional duel. Nagi is standing against the monologue. He says, this is the right choice for us now. This is what a team is. This is what it means to win. I get that intellectually. However, this reality doesn't fire me up. So, that's what's the...
It's sort of the dread of like realizing that Reo was the one that always fired him up.
Okay, so with that, we have a lot of topics. I'll talk about that already if Raven wants to say he can. If not, I'll talk about it on my own because I need to address these points because it's very doesn't make sense. I'll address them afterwards. But anyways, what did you think of this chapter, Raven?
I really enjoyed it. Of course it just builds. We already know the results ahead of time because of the announcement of the first selection and the teams that went through.
Yeah.
But this really actually builds up the intensity for someone who may read this for the first time and not know the result if their team makes it. This is actually building up very closely. And what I've noticed is that the opposing team, Karasu, has not actually none of them have figured out a plan to actually go about their next attack like they usually do. Because whenever Nagi's team would score, they would just be like, all right, we got this, we got that, and hit with a counter attack of some sort.
Yeah.
So this one is clearly saying at this point is clearly saying that their team is at their limits because now Nagi's team is evolving further and further.
Yeah. It just comes down to, I think that this chapter visually, in my opinion, looked better than the main one. I love the style that they go for this. It's more detailed. They go very detailed on this. And it's so wild because they're doing what's essentially 4 times the length of a normal chapter with once a month, but way better quality. Okay, would you want the BLUELOCK manga to take this approach? They increase the quality, they increase the length by 4 times, but they only go once a month.
Increase the length as well.
So episode Nagi. So basically episode Nagi-fi, the main story.
Yeah, I would be down for that, and honestly, it kind of eliminates the cycle of people quickly falling behind videos that won't get as popular. So therefore, people won't have to grind as much in terms of content.
Yeah.
A week after of the latest chapter, and it still be relevant. And yeah, way better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely.
My
Yeah. Honestly, you have more stuff to cover, and therefore more time to work on theorizing videos and analysis videos. It would actually make me do chapter reviews if they were once a month. The reason why I don't do episode Nagi chapter reviews is because we already know the result.
Yeah.
So there's hardly any speculation about it.
Yeah. I don't necessarily even do chapter reviews myself unless something from that chapter pissed me off or was really hype or confirmed a theory I have or whatever. I did the Loki and Igaguri one because that didn't make sense, but I was happy Loki came on like I predicted. I did one for Omnivision because I had a theory. I had a theory when I was reading that, so I made the theory on it. I don't usually do it chapter reviews, but I think I would love it, but I don't think it'd work. I think the manga functions good based off of week by week chapters because you can always leave a cliffhanger, that cliffhanger for a huge anticipating moment, or during that chapter there's going to be a huge moment. During this kind of thing, there's not I couldn't see a lot of points where they could do the most recent events. Because you could have take the chapters of Igaguri and Loki subbing on after Rin's goal, Igaguri fouling Rin, Noa's true ego, and this very recent chapter. They all leave on a cliffhanger that's specifically designed as a cliffhanger. I don't think if it would be that impactful or even that cool or as hyped as they were in the main story if it was in a monthly release, because you'd have Loki coming onto the pitch, you'd have Igaguri fouling Rin, you'd have Noa's true ego, and you'd have Loki stopping the Kaiser impact. Those 4 huge moments all remain at the end, basically towards the end of the chapter, or that's the chapter's main hitting point. And I feel like throwing that into one giant for once a month thing would kind of like, it'd be super hype, but those individual moments wouldn't be as individually hype because they'd be competing against each other.
It would just be adapting at that point, because obviously they won't have those cliffhanging manga panels if they're not going to leave on a cliffhanger. They would just continue at a consistent pace, which is what I would seek. But I feel like the issue that I would have is them leaving on a cliffhanger for us to wait a full month for the next result. Because I feel like the cliffhanger can be easily as remembered if it was on a weekly basis. That would be my only like gripe with it. But realistically, I would take a extension of quantity, and of course an improvement of quality if they're only going to release it once a month.
Yeah. It's
this one episode Nagi chapter was the equivalent of probably like 3, maybe 4 normal chapters.
Well, a normal chapter is 40 pages, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Really? This was the same length? Well, it's two, so it's double a normal chapter, but this chapter felt so much longer than the main story.
Well, it's because the pacing of it, because they don't spend forever on like a single thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not to mention they do more double spreads in the main story. Like they did 2 double spreads in the latest chapter with the Kaiser Impact and then Loki stopping it.
Yeah. Yeah, I will just say I'd still prefer it to be like of the once a month. But I know that won't be the case, and it's probably better for it to not be the case, because people would have a hard time adapting to that sort of change. And you know us Blue Lock fans, we were already like starving for the anime, so much so that people were just like, please give it to us, and then we get it, and then we're like,
Yeah.
But anyway, before we segue into that, what would you rate this chapter?
Oh, this chapter, easily a solid 9.2.
I'd give it a 9.5.
I say 9.2 because there's not necessarily anything I didn't really like. I disliked. I just feel like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10. I'm giving it a 10.
Oh, you have no reason to not give it a 10.
Yeah, like looking through this whole chapter, there isn't anything I don't like. I like that they fleshed out. They gave Chickadee some time facing off against Aiki. They gave Aiki a spotlight, but they also gave like the reflection of like Chickadee's own ego now, and of like you have him fighting even though his leg is now like, we now know how close it is to breaking. Like if he just turns the wrong way, it'll tear. Like
B.S. I want episode Nagi manga with new original covers.
They have them. They have them. They have them, don't they?
Yeah.
Like here.
Episode Nagi manga covers exist. They are original.
Yeah, here I have them here.
I give it 9.5 because I don't think Himizu's like backstory is as fleshed out as I would want it to be. I know he's a character in which he's quickly deemed irrelevant, but like I would like much more example of like trauma and backstory when it comes to him, because we've gotten so much backstory in regards to like people with shit childhoods, and I feel like this was just, oh, parents lie. All parents lie. Over it, baby.
Yeah. Like it's just very interesting to me. And I also do like how Chickadee and Bado were drawn specifically. I think that those characters looked great this chapter. Chickadee's panel, like his character page highlighting there, looked really good. And then you go to Bado's, like the despair one. looked really good, along with like the far shot of like the shadows and the lightning aura around him. Like, I'm changing my vote. Yeah, this is a solid 10. I have no real complaints for this. The pacing was so good that this sets it up for next chapter to be the final. Like, next chapter, I could see the chapter ending with Nagi scoring a goal. And then the chapter after that, they'd pick Kiora, and then they'd go on, and then they'd go to the World 5 match and whatever.
With Hamid Ajaz, I'm not sure how to say that name. I'm just going to call you Hamid. Era and Raven, what do you think about Isagi's new... I assume that is what you think Isagi's next evolution will be.
He could be
said Omnivision.
He could be talking about Hideo's theory. He could be talking about Hideo's theory. Because Hideo did a new video talking about Isagi's new evolution.
I didn't watch that.
I haven't watched it fully. I watched it about halfway through because I threw it on while I was driving, just because I like to throw on some videos just to throw on to listen to.
Yeah, but I'm saying that your prediction of it is Omnivision.
Yeah, my prediction is I personally believe Omnivision, just because Isagi seems to always be focusing too much on his eyes and not enough on his brain. And there's a lot of panels when he enters flow that are highlighting his brain with the puzzle pieces, and I think that instead of like how Bachata has monster trance and how Rin has his destroyer mode, Omnivision is his flow mode. That's what I think. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Fair enough. I didn't really have a prediction. Like, in terms of evolution, I believe it's not going to be Omnivision next. I feel like that's going to be like a later thing, not during the NEL. I believe his next evolution comes with the collaboration of Ness and Kiora.
Yeah.
We'll see what he develops through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
That is the episode Nagi chapter. Honestly, I'm always super happy when episode Nagi chapters come out.
Yeah, I agreed. They're so good. They're such high quality content, and it's just a lot of content as well.
Yeah.
RDJ or RD, I said RDJ like Robert Downey Jr. You say, please, Isagi does not need another power up. It's not a power up per se. It's just him. Okay, it is a power up, but it's not like him gaining something new.
He doesn't need another brother. He's the main character.
It's more like
Goku doesn't need another transformation. It's literally built in his character.
it's more along the lines of like how he was in the second selection. He was focused too much on his direct shot that he basically completely forgot about his spatial awareness in the 2v2. Isagi's been focusing so much on what he can see that he's not even focusing too much on what he can process. Like when he was going against Snuffy, he and Snuffy could see the same things. It was just Snuffy could act upon them faster because he could understand them and then move to act on them quicker than Isagi could. He couldn't.
Yeah, it just underlines a better usage of metavision. Whilst Kaiser was on the lower scale of utilizing metavision because he would have the same visions as Isagi, but he wouldn't be able to act as quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was focusing on this one way of getting his goal, only one way.
Yeah.
Like the struggle of Isagi like getting a goal with his direct shot in the second selection. It was pretty much the same thing, but Kaiser went back to that point and then evolved to a point where he now isn't hyper focused on that and is instead utilizing all of his abilities from the ground up.
Yeah, and he's like, and looking at Isagi himself, it's not necessarily just a power up. It's just like him going into flow is a mindset thing. So increasing his understanding and how quickly he can process information, I think tracks with.
Notice the best written main characters don't always have power ups. That's a subjective opinion.
Yeah,
it's because that's just how you feel, which is fine.
What do you call Luffy? Luffy's argued to be one of the best written male characters in anime, but Luffy got Gear 5.
You could say he's not your favorite main character, but you can't say he's like not one of the best because he is literally subjected as the best.
Isagi's had an ego evolution, right?
Yeah.
He actively evolves every match. He's having an ego evolution of every. He doesn't need an ego reconstruction.
Yeah, he just puts in the new data, like, you know, the ego types, for example.
It's like adjusting
that was something new he learned in this match.
What is it called? It's like adjusting a program by adding new code. You still have it's still code. You're just adding something new to it to change it completely. If you want to consider that in ego evolution, that's fine. But
Isagi's that specific case because he adds his data through adaptability.
When is he? But when is he not capable of doing what he's able to do? We as an audience loved Isagi before the NEL. The second he started doing things he's not physically achievable of, that's when Isagi haters started hating. What has he done that he's not capable of?
Well, there are examples of him failing to do something because his physical specs don't allow him to. But the proof of it is that the fact that he's improving upon it wherever it needs to be addressed. That's the case with his adaptability. His adaptability allows him to address a situation and, of course, target it in order to fix the issue. And he's going to run into problems. He's not perfect. There's very certain cases where the main character doesn't need to focus on themselves and is already perfect off the bat. But Isagi is not one of those main characters. He's in the large majority of characters in which have to improve, adapt, evolve. And that's just how you make a story. It would just be kind of boring if Isagi was already overpowered and just didn't have to learn anything because he was so good.
But you said the two-gun volley was weird. Who's to say he couldn't do the twin-gun volley before? He'd seen it from Nagi. He had trained from after his lefty shot, he trained for 2 weeks on his physical specs to be able to even it out a little more. Like, off-screen development with no evidence is just random. They had a 2-week break where they train.
It's not visual evidence, but it's definitely clarified evidence. There's enough of a time gap to where anyone can train up to that point. Be realistic, right? In real life, someone can probably get to that point if they trained hard on it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and the thing of that is when you look at Hiyori in the Ubers match wasn't even selected. He was below Kiora in terms of overall stats. But now he's on the pitch as a starting member, meaning his stats went above where Kiora's were to then put him onto the pitch.
Yeah,
implying that there was training done. And if you're saying that Hiyori went to train, why would you not assume that Isagi wasn't? Considering when they were talking about the thing of him and Kaiser working together, they were literally on the pitch training.
Yeah, they were also on the pitch training when Kiora and Ikiguri had their matchup, and then Ikiguri was asking questions regarding Isagi, how do I get involved? How do I get my opportunity? Whatever, shit like that. It was basically just saying this is a training period, and this is the opportunity that Ikiguri has to ask how he can get onto the boards because he's desperate. He hasn't played in a match yet.
Yeah. All right, I'll go through your points. Twin gun volley that you mentioned, we just already explained that, so I'm not covering it. Him outplaying Chris Prince. Gagamaru was already going to the right, so Isagi knew he was going to the right. Isagi started running before Chris Prince even kicked the ball, and then he told Gagamaru to go down while he went up, blocking off the entire shot course. It was going to get blocked from where Isagi was. Looking at his lefty shot, he trained with Kunigami for a week to get 40% max. Here, I'll let you finish your point. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. So he couldn't have let Prince if Gagamaru was there. He needed Gagamaru to be there in order to cover all bases. He literally went to Kunigami to ask him about training his physical specs in order to achieve ambidextrosity. Kunigami told him if he was to train incorrectly, his body balance and of course physical specs would be way off towards what his body is naturally capable of. So he had to specifically train his body to where he can use lefty direct shot only to 70%. Was it 70%?
No, it was 40% in the Ubers match. It was 40% in Ubers.
Yeah, so he didn't even fully master his lefty direct shot, but the point is that he trained to up to 40%, and that's realistic. People with left foot hits if you train with it constantly.
And you can train. It was 10 days of intense training with Kunigami, someone who is proof that you can train ambidexterity. Because Kunigami wasn't prior to going into the NEL. He just learned how to be nearly fully ambidextrous through the wild card. So who's to say training with him couldn't allow him to be partially ambidextrous by 40% in 10 days' time, considering Kunigami was in the wild card for less than 30 days.
Kunigami still that's not the point. Kunigami may have missed with his left or right shot, but Isagi may have hit his. The point is of the situation that they were in. Isagi was clear with no defenders in his way, whilst Kunigami had a bunch of defenders plus a goalkeeper.
The only one that Isagi had against him was Ness, who had blocked off specifically his right shooting weapon. So he wasn't even trying to block his shot. He was just trying to stop him from shooting. There's a huge difference in those two. And then looking back, when you say that he was better than Kaiser, no, he wasn't. He was just able to see the same things as Kaiser, which is provided of a metavision user. Doesn't matter how good or bad you are, you can still view the stuff. It just depends on how quickly you can act on those opinions and how long you can maintain using the ability for. Isagi was in training for 10 days, fully stamina training. Physical enhancement to do his lefty direct shot and stamina training with Raichi. That's what he was doing to be able to use metavision for longer. That's not the thing. And then, by the way, again, there's a 10-day period between each match. And Bastard München was on a break after the Ubers match. So 20 straight days of refinement to his lefty direct shot, his stamina, his physical abilities. That's where he's at now. And I think the one way you can improve Isagi, because the whole thing is that he unlocked metavision, but then his body couldn't handle it. So we trained his body to be able to handle it. Now his body's at the higher level to where it can fully handle all of metavision. So why not give him a boost to his metavision now that his physical stats can handle it, which would be the thinking aspect, because he has the stamina to do that. You can't increase your vision, but you can increase how quickly you can understand that what you see. That's what I just think. Metavision still does drain stamina. It's just like Isagi trained for over 30 days to improve his stamina from when he first awakened it. Like,
Metavision's not like a Super Saiyan Grade 4, man. Every aspect of this anime, like, no matter what you're utilizing, does drain stamina. Metavision does take brain function, and by proxy, does drain stamina.
Yeah. But anyways,
you can increase stamina. Yeah, that's very true. You can increase stamina. That's why Isagi's having less trouble with utilizing metavision, because he has more stamina.
Before we get into the last two topics, there's one thing I saw earlier I want to comment on that just made me realize. Shido's Big Bang Drive is the exact same thing as Nagi's 5-stage revolver fake volley. And you cannot convince me otherwise. There is in no way Shido can replicate the exact situation for the Big Bang Drive. The same way that Nagi cannot replicate his 5-stage revolver fake volley. Everything about the situation for his Big Bang Drive is what led him to being able to do it. He was in flow. He had Sai. Gagamaru had pushed out of the goal box to intercept the ball, meaning there was no goalkeeper in the net. The ball was perfectly above Shido at a position he could jump and perform a bicycle kick on. There is no other way Shido can replicate all of those. If Gagamaru was simply in the net at that time, Shido would not have scored the Big Bang Drive. It does not matter. It was because Gagamaru was out of the net that he was able to score that. It was because he had Sai, all the perfect situations that led him to scoring that.
Oh my god, he's snapping.
Am I wrong?
He's snapping. No, you're not. I feel like most of those, like, very talent-based goals are built off of a case of multiple scenarios and situations. Nagi's goal is much more impressive than Shido's Big Bang Drive.
Yes, 100%.
Like, imagine doing what Nagi can do. Nah, fuck no, I ain't gonna do that. I can do a bicycle kick, but I can't do what Nagi does.
No,
that would genuinely be almost impossible.
Shido's presence and gameplay set everything up. No, it didn't. he had failed over and over again. It was just the fact that everyone had pushed up to stop him. It wasn't that, like, he had set everything up. He wasn't intending to do that. It was just he can't replicate that situation anymore. It was because he had Sai. It was because Gagamaru came out of the net. Hold up. I want to pull up this exact thing so I know I'm not making shit up. It was because they had a PK. Not PK, a free kick. And everyone had pushed up because of the free kick. That is what led it to happening. Looking at it.
I wish you got like possible measurements of how the fast ball was strike. Then you'd be able to estimate whether or not it would get past a goalkeeper if he was in the net.
Yeah. Well, if he's in the net, the ball's going to be coming right at him from above. It didn't even hit into the net directly. It hit on the ground first and then bounced into the net.
True.
Yeah, Gagamaru said everyone push up. Gagamaru said everyone push up because it was a free kick, which is usually what you would do in a free kick situation. Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't because Shido set them up to be pushed out. It's because they're in a free kick, so he made them push out. Gagamaru takes the free kick. He sends it over to Nagi. Sai comes in and intercepts the pass. Who then kicks the ball to Shido. Aryu and Reo are going to press Shido. Gagamaru comes out of the box. Here, I'll turn my screen back on so you can see this exactly.
By the way, we're not arguing that. We're not arguing the situation where Gagamaru had to go out was like wrong. Gagamaru did come out, yeah, but the point that we're trying to make is that if he stayed in the goal, he would have likely saved the shot.
It's just a matter of if the entire situation had happened where the ball is above Shido in the perfect position and Shido's there, but Gagamaru is simply in the net, that goal would not have been scored.
But we're not like it's also the case of like Gagamaru wasn't wrong to direct people to push up against Shido to contain him. That wasn't the wrong move, but they couldn't have anticipated Shido's evolution.
It's not even just that. It was the fact that Sai intercepted the pass.
Yeah.
Sai intercepted the pass, sent a pass to Shido. Aryu and Reo are right there on Shido. But the ball is ahead, so he would reach it before Which
if Gagamaru was in goal, he would have saved it.
Which, by the way,
would have literally came right to him.
This play isn't because of Shido; it's because of Sai. Sai sent the perfect pass to where the defenders couldn't reach it, but Shido could. And Gagamaru would have had to come out to intercept it, or Shido would have gotten a free pass thanks to Sai, not Shido, thanks to Sai. Gagamaru then comes out to headbutt the ball because it's outside of the box. So he headbutts the ball, and the ball goes up. As the ball...
Gagamaru stays in... No. Okay, I'm going to read this. I'm going to specify this argument. If he did this exact same shot whilst Gagamaru was in goal, Gagamaru would have saved this shot. We're specifying this shot, not anything else.
We're assuming from this moment, this is where we're starting off. So take this panel right here. I don't know if you can see it, Raven, but take this panel right here where Gagamaru right here is behind Shido. Get rid of Gagamaru here and put him all the way back. Just for instance, say it was Aryu who headbutted the ball instead. Say it was Aryu who headbutted the ball up to this exact position and put Gagamaru back in the net. If Shido performs this bicycle kick, no matter what, we see the ball doesn't go directly towards the net, it goes up. It goes straight up, and it flies vertically up, and then it starts to curve down. Which by the time they're there, Aryu is right behind. Aryu is like a little, I'd say he's, I don't know how far you'd say that is. I'd say he's maybe 3 or so meters away from Shido. Maybe a little more at the time when he goes to go up. When he kicks the ball, Aryu is already inside of the goal box. Meaning, Aryu got from where Gagamaru currently is on this panel, because that's where likely Aryu was, to right here in the time it took for Shido to go up and kick the ball. From him to go up, kick the ball, and it to start going to where Aryu is now. Aryu and the ball were traveling at basically the same speed. Maybe just a little bit the ball was moving slightly faster. It then bounces and then goes into the goal.
Shido wouldn't have taken the shot from. We're saying this is the if. Like, okay, sure, he wouldn't have if, like, in the situation where that wouldn't have been set up.
He probably would have. We've seen how he plays. He probably would have done it though.
He probably would have, but let's say he didn't. That's not the argument we're trying to make. We're saying that if he took the shot whilst Gagamaru was in the goal, Gagamaru would have saved it. That is it.
That's all we're saying. Whether or not Shido would have taken the shot or not, regardless, if replace Gagamaru in doing the headbutt and have it be Aryu, have Aryu do the headbutt so the ball is up there, but Gagamaru is still far back in the net. Whether or not Shido takes the shot or not, he still would not have made it because Gagamaru would have been right there to block it or catch it.
If Shido was to not take that shot, which is very out of character for him anyway, if he was to not take that shot and go around and take him on in a 1v1, maybe he could have scored. We wouldn't know. We wouldn't know that for sure.
You're missing the point, bro.
We're not saying in a situation where Shido sees that Gagamaru's in goal and doesn't take that shot and goes for a 1-on-1. We don't know the answer if he would have scored or not. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the situation whether or not when Shido does a bicycle kick, if Gagamaru's back in goal, we're saying that Gagamaru would save that specific strike. Nothing else, nothing in addition, nothing changes. Shido does that exact same bicycle kick towards the goal. Gagamaru would have saved it if he was the person that was in goal for that strike.
Yeah. Because
that's the argument we're making.
Yeah. This shot is incredibly slow because it shoots up first, and then it shoots up and then it curves down into the goal. This shot from here, I guarantee you, is taking maybe 6 seconds. 6 seconds of preparation as someone who's played goalkeeper is a lot of time. If I can see a shot is coming and it's and I have 6 seconds to prepare, there is no way I'm not stopping it unless it's hitting the top corner. And even in that case, I can position myself to where I can run towards the top corner and then jump to block or catch. But this shot doesn't hit that. It hits it straight down. It hits straight into the ground and then bounces him. And you've said, and here's the thing. He wouldn't do a bicycle kick if Gagamaru stays back. Can you confirm that? We've seen how Shido plays. He does whatever he wants. He takes shots whenever he wants. Who's to say even if Gagamaru is there?
Even so, like this, we're still arguing in the case of like if Gagamaru was in goal and Shido did this kick, Gagamaru would have saved it. We're not saying your argument.
Yeah.
We're not saying your argument. We're saying that if Shido took this shot, and you may say that he wouldn't, but we're saying if he took this shot and Gagamaru was back in goal, he would have saved it.
Yes.
That's the argument we're making. Nothing in addition.
Here's the thing. The only mention that Shido has is the fact that Gagamaru came out to intercept the pass before Shido could. He just says, "Are you fucking for real, you top-knot keeper?" Gagamaru says, "Overreaching headbutt, no hands allowed dive." Izagi says, "Nice, Gagamaru. He managed to quickly decide to leave the penalty area." Shido then says, "Shit, I gotta restart the attack all over again." If you replace Gagamaru with Aryu in this instance, nothing about this situation for Shido changes. He still would have said, "I still have to restart the play." But looking at this, Shido says, "Huh? What is this sensation? It's still way too far away, but I can feel the goal with my back. All of my cells are telling me to score a super goal." Ego says, "So we got in. The flow." Shido hits Big Bang Drive. And he says, "Now, to all the shits in the world who don't know me yet, take my goal, take my genes, right in the womb." And he scores a goal. The only mention of Gagamaru he had was the fact that he didn't expect Gagamaru to come out and headbutt it. If it was Aryu who came out to headbutt it, he still would have had the same reaction because he wasn't expecting a headbutt.
Okay, well, at the end of the day, right? The argument that we're trying to make is clearly not getting across to some people. But we're not interpreting it as Shido would react any differently if Gargamaru is back in goal. We're saying that in the situation where Shido does take this shot anyway, and Gargamaru is still in goal, Gargamaru would have saved the shot. And that's the whole argument we're making. You can say that Shido wouldn't take the shot, but we're saying if he took the shot whilst Gargamaru was in goal, Gargamaru would have saved it. You can say it wouldn't have happened, but we're still saying if Shido took this shot whilst Gargamaru was in goal, Gargamaru would save it. And then you keep saying that he would be in the 1v1. That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying. You're arguing against a point in which we're not making. So stop arguing against the point that we're not making and arguing against the point that we are making.
Here's the thing: if Shido did get the ball here and Gargamaru, if Shido did get the ball here and didn't, right, and Gargamaru was back, Shido probably wouldn't have done Big Bang Drive. He wouldn't have. He would have just gone up and scored a goal. But the argument we're making is just if you had Gargamaru in the net, that goal is not being scored. Whether or not from this point is there. I'm just saying, from when Shido goes up to score the goal and do the bicycle kick. Think of a situation where none of this happened. Right here. Take away Gargamaru, take away Ryo, take away Aryu right here. Just make it Shido. The ball is above him. And he feels like he wants to score a bicycle kick. If he simulates the Big Bang Drive, he jumps up like he does here. He does his Big Bang Drive. If Gargamaru is...
matter that Okay. I feel like this has to be a moved on topic soon. Why does it matter if Gargamaru saved the shot?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't.
We're arguing that he would save the shot, but some people are disagreeing because they're making up situations that aren't saying is part of the situation. We're arguing for this specific situation where Gargamaru's in goal and Shido still takes the shot.
Yeah. The whole point of this is that, yes, Eternal, you have it right. The argument is that this goal is not reproducible. This goal is the same thing as Nagi's 5-stage fake volley. You can say it's an incredible goal, but there is no way Shido is going to be able to reproduce this. The situation for this goal will never happen again. It will never happen again. Sure, he'll do a bicycle kick, but there will never be a situation where Shido performs this Big Bang Drive where he is a genius midfielder who sends him a pass to the specific point where nobody can reach it. The goalkeeper would then be forced to come out of the box because of that, to then headbutt the ball out, which just so happens to headbutt in a position that's high enough but also low enough to where you can perform a bicycle kick that hits the ball so perfectly it goes over to where the defenders cannot make it back in time to defend, and you score on an open net. This goal is not reproducible.
All right.
That's our argument.
We're gonna leave it at the agree to disagree point as standard because we can understand that people don't believe Shido is overrated, but we were just taking it upon ourselves to talk about this specific situation. So you can deem Shido as not overrated. That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say another thing, but I don't care. I don't care. Anyways,
we can move on.
So, the next thing to talk about, I'll just throw the title thing back up, is our thoughts on the episode. Raven already posted his review, which did very well, might I add, and is continue to go do very well. I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna go link it in the description. You should totally go check it out. It's already at 1.2k views. Let's go, Raven.
1.7k.
It's 1.2 for me.
Yeah, it's the unupdated version.
Yeah. But you guys should totally go check out his review. I'm going to tag it in the description below of this stream. You should totally go check it out after this live because you don't want to leave us. But Raven, give your generic thoughts that don't give too much away from the viewer review so that way they have a reason to go watch it.
What generic? What for my video?
No, just give your thoughts on the episode. Don't go too in depth on your thoughts on the episode because I want them to have a reason to go watch your review. But give your
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed, but it's not to say like I didn't expect this kind of episode. It's just to say the approach that they've taken with this kind of episode was worse than what I originally thought it would be.
Yeah.
That's my brief opinion.
Yeah. I will say this because my review comes out tomorrow and it's going to get watched. just because a lot of people here wouldn't. A lot of people who would watch the video aren't on the live right now, so I'll go through my thoughts on it. I believe the episode overall was pretty bad. It had some very good aspects. The composition was great. You had I thought Ruin's stealth kill shot was the best part of the episode. I thought that Chigity's sprint in some points was bad. Rewatching it, I'm growing more accustomed to it. I don't like how they did Karasu's moment. I don't like how they did Atoya's moment. I don't like how they did Shido's moment. I think it feels like they're not animating a sequence, but they're animating it panel by panel. Like, they're trying to adapt the manga panel by panel rather than adapting the manga moment by moment, if that makes sense. Like, they're not adapting it as, like, one continuous event like they did in the first season. They're adapting it like, here's one panel, let's adapt that. Then we'll cut to this panel. Then we'll cut to this panel. Then we'll cut to this panel. That's how it felt. Like, Rashido's shot, it just felt like they were trying to adapt the panel rather than the action.
Yeah, because the motion of it didn't exist besides, like, ball moving. Like, he didn't swing. It just literally was a still picture. It's like me showing a picture of Shido kicking the ball, and that's the representation of what we got as the kicking action.
Yeah. Like,
which sucks.
Yeah, even for, like, Atoya and Karasu, they didn't kick the ball. Their leg was already outstretched. It was just a sound effect of a kick with the ball moving. And them being slightly rotating.
The only one. Rin was the only
Although,
one.
no, Chigity, when he did the pass, too. When Chigity made his pass.
No, I mean Rin for goals.
Oh, for goals-wise, yes. I just think they are adapting it panel by panel rather than moment by moment.
It's not chaining into each other. They are basically playing.
Did Rin use Predator Eye? No.
Slideshows. They're not chaining into each other. They were able to chain into each other was through CGI, and now that people didn't want to see that, they're just doing this instead. But this could be also a case of them using the budget for U20 match, which I extremely hope that is the case. But in the scenario that we of course don't know that, and saying that this is probably going to happen.
Here's the thing. I think that this episode overall sucked. But I think when the season's done, and if you ever do like a binge of the second season again, just because you want to rewatch it, like if you watch all of season 1, now you want to watch all of season 2, I think you'll notice that this episode is bad by comparison, but I don't think it'll stick out to you like, oh, this was horrible, this is one of the worst things. You're like, oh, this was just a bad episode. It looks bad in comparison because we have episode 1 to go off of, which looked good, but we didn't get a lot of game footage. This is the only episode of game footage we have. I think when we see next episode, that will determine how good it actually is.
In the limited time in which we saw Sai versus Rin, there was a lot more actual fluent movement. And that was that kind of standard which I was expecting for at least, like, not for the main parts, because we of course saw that shit trailer, but at least for, like, during the playouts of the game itself. But
here's another thing, though, that you need to think about. That sequence,
like she in the anime, it does in the trailer.
Yeah. But listen. That sequence, that flashback, traditionally would be showed during the U20 match. They likely took clips from. They probably reused clips, right? They probably reused the clips of that, and then slightly cut stuff or change stuff depending for this first flashback. But going into this, that might be the quality that they're going to use for this next season. For the U20 match, because they're just taking footage. Like, they'll likely reuse the footage. So if they animated that section first, and then they just repurposed it for the first episode, that would explain why it looks so high quality now. And then this second episode looks so low quality, because they're reusing footage and the high quality animation from the second core, or the second arc that has all the budget for this. That's the comparison that I think they're going for.
Yeah, and there's also been mentions, like, by interviewers themselves that they have. Apparently Isagi's voice actor said that they're saving budget for the U20 match itself. So realistically, like I've overall had a much more positive outlook in comparison to quite a few other people, in regards to this episode. It's not a good episode, and I don't think my opinion will change on that. But
No.
it's at least an episode in which I can look back on and be like, thank God they didn't stick to this, and it can definitely improve from here. We got our like high standard from episode 1, and now we've got our low standard from episode 2. So basically, going forward, we're comparing every bit of match, like actual match plays, whatever, how the match flows, to episode 2.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've set the lowest bar possible means that it's only up from here.
Yeah, like you use this as your low bar, use episode 1 as your high bar. I do want to answer the question by Emerald, who says, "Do you agree fan animation of manga panels looks better than the episode?" Hot take: I do not. And I think it just comes down to you can tell what's a fan animation and what was made by the studio. Whether you want to say this episode was bad, you can obviously tell which was made by a fan and which was made by the actual studio.
I wouldn't say that it would, like, a fan animation would be of better quality, but I would enjoy a fan animation than this, because a fan animation product is made by usually one person doing an animation for the sake of their passion, and that's what I find more enjoyable. And then comparing it to this, which is like a studio of people putting money together to make an episode in its entirety together, that's kind of what's the letdown here.
Yeah. That's all. I think no matter how bad an official episode is, you can tell what was made by a studio and what was made by a lone person. And I think so long as you can tell what was made by the lone person, in that regard, no matter how bad the no matter how bad the official episode is, it will always be considered. It always will be registered as better quality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you have the one guy. His name is Demo. He makes a lot of he makes a lot of like the BLUELOCK fan animations. Like, he recently did one of Kiora and his Twister Pass and his goal in the episode Nagi side story. From that, you can obviously tell it was fan animated. But if it was animated by the studio, you could tell it might not be as fluid or as smooth, but you'll definitely be able to tell what was made by the studio and what was made by a fan. And I think as long as you can make that distinction, one will always be above the other.
Arrow and Raven, what role do you think Yuri will be in the U20 World Cup arc? Believe either midfielder or like direct support for Isagi, depending on how this current match goes.
Yeah, I think it'll be the Sai. I think it'll just be passing to anyone that works. Throw him in as an offensive.
That's what I do believe, because it aligns himself with his mentality. So that's why like midfielder works.
Yeah. Have my ideal team for this. It's gonna sound a little weird. Have Ryo and Hiyori have Hiyori as an offensive midfielder. Have Ryo as a midfielder, so he can play the defensive one or offensive. Make 2 up or 2 back. Have a defensive midfielder either in Kunigami or Karasu. Have Chigiri on left wing. Have Nagi on the right wing. Have Rain and Isagi in forward. And then for a substitute for Nagi, have Bachira. And then for the defense, Aiku, you'll have him. Aryu, I want as my 2 center backs. And as wingers, I could see someone like, or as side backs, I could see someone like Corona playing as a post player, or Nanase, but I think Nanase is less likely than Corona.
Yeah.
Or I could see someone like
Kunigami isn't a defender. Well, see his defensive feats currently, man. he's clearly a good defender, even if he isn't a defender.
You have so many. Here's the thing: you have so many forward players. Kunigami would play a forward. Isagi likely would play a forward. Reem will play a forward. Shida would play a forward. Bado would play a forward. Like, that's like 4 or 5 center forwards.
We could, but Kunigami's not a stronger forward than the forwards that have been established as forwards.
Yeah, but he's been a better defensive midfielder than Karasu, who's been established as a defensive midfielder.
That's why he got so gassed defending Shido. Well, he's either going on defense or he's not going to be on the pitch.
Also, isn't it? I think it's harder to keep up with someone than it is to just run around. If Kunigami was running the same amount as he was marking Shido, but he was actively just running on his own,
he is specific dedicated like fucking strength training, and that increases his stamina alone.
Yeah.
So it proves that man marking is actually a much more exhausting task than just simply playing.
It's harder to it takes more energy to man mark than it is to be man marked.
He isn't conditioned to defend, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he can be conditioned to defend if he's put in that position.
He's not conditioned to defend, but what has he been doing the majority of the PhD game when he's been on? Defending. And he's been doing it very well. So long as he was there and no one stopped him, Shido was useless.
And he could just be subbed off. Like, what can we assume? How much time do you think this PhD game has taken within the universe?
In universe, 40 minutes.
I'd say at least 45 minutes or over, so past the halfway point. So therefore, Kunigami's been in the defensive position for half the game.
Well, Shido scored his goal relatively quickly. I mean, like, what happened? So the kickoff happened. It was Bastard's ball. Kunigami kicked it into the air. It went to Charles. No, it went to Nanase. Nanase passed the ball to Rin. Isagi intercepted. Ball went out. Throw-in happened. Kaiser ended up getting the ball back. Started to push up the field with Ness to do his point shot. Rin stole it. He started pushing the ball back. Kaiser, Isagi, and Hiyori had to stop Rin. The ball went up. It went to Karasu. Karasu hit the back heel pass to Charles. Charles sent it to Shido. Shido scored the goal. Kunigami started man-marking Shido. Charles kept passing to Shido after the goal. Shido's first goal probably happened within the first 7 minutes. Then Kunigami started marking Shido over and over again. Charles got the ball, shot the ball through Kaiser Ness's legs. Hiyori stopped it. Raichi got the ball. Raichi gave the ball to Hiyori. Hiyori sent the pass to Isagi, who Kunigami intercepted it, headbutted it to Isagi. He did his twin gun volley, which scored a goal. I could see that happening maybe 10 minutes after. So 17, 20 minutes, 17, maybe 20 minutes, we'll say the mark was Isagi's goal.
We gotta go through this entire thing because we got more chat to read.
Oh yeah.
I just summarize it as like at least half the match. But even so, if you don't think he can have the stamina to keep up in that defensive position, he would literally not fit anywhere else because of the fact of like there's people better in him as striker. He's clearly not a passer. And he's had the best feats recently as a defender. He can condition himself to be a better defender, or he could just be subbed off halfway through the match to replace with someone like, I don't know, Raichi.
Yeah.
So there's no issue there. Raichi is the person I would pick over Kunigami, but I'm not going to put Kunigami in a different position other than defender.
Yeah. Aryu made Kunigami irrelevant in the Ubers match? When? Aryu had one defensive feat over Kunigami. And it was because Aryu has is like 5 inches taller than Kunigami and also specializes in jumping. He won an aerial battle. That was all Aryu did against Kunigami. And Kunigami barely lost the aerial battle. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think Nico fits, personally.
Nico's good at just being the watchtower per se, so he would be a shot caller really.
But who needs Nico with Metavision when Aiku has it?
Yeah, IQ is just a better Nico.
IQ is better than Nico. IQ has Metavision like Nico, but also has the physical the specs and stats over Nico. And then you have audio for the range of height. So you have audio for reach and for aerial, and then you have IQ for ground battles of physique and prediction with Metavision. Like you don't need Nico unless audio or IQ gets injured.
He's a good defender as well.
Yeah, audio is underrated as a defender.
Yeah, I'd just say he's an underrated character.
Yeah. But overall, we're drifting away from the episode. I think was just bad, but that was just kind of.
There's not much else to talk about because, like, in terms of how we feel, we of course both don't appreciate the amount of time towards it, but we can look towards the future and see the outcome of like they've probably not put that much time into this because they deemed it as less important, which is true. I hope the Metavision flow state thing is going to be good in this match. It is going to look good, and that will be the only good-looking thing in this match.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, and they really, really save the budget for the U20 game, then it's whatever. I can move past it.
Yeah. Let's do one more before we go into the last thing we have for this, and then if we want to go back to chat, we can. It's just, or we can just end it. It all depends on you because I'm impartial. You love Kunigami, but you think he should not start in the World Cup.
I agree.
I disagree. I think he should. I don't think he will.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think Raichi should.
I don't think Raichi should. I think Raichi's good. I think Raichi just would be. Kunigami is just Raichi better.
I believe there is going to be a chance in where Raichi can develop his weapons more so, because right now he's just really good at like pinning, man marking kind of shit. But I'm wanting a more defensive. I believe he will get that.
Yeah. Raven.
That was the weirdest thing I've. Oh, sweet. Yeah, what's up?
This is a good one. Would this season have been a better production if episode Nagi was never worked on? I think it's hard to determine, because if the movie was specifically made for a cash grab for more budget for this season, and we see it in the U20 match that the U20 match actually looks incredibly well, then I would say no. If the U20 match looks shit, I would say yes.
Yeah, my opinion, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe the money that they made off this gave them enough time to produce the best quality possible, unless it's all initial, because I'm not sure how animation studios really work. So they were kind of so I assume they kind of banked on the episode Nagi movie to make just enough money to justify the quality of animation that they're doing for the U20 game. So yeah, if the U20 match doesn't look good, the episode Nagi movie wasn't a cash grab and instead was just them getting out the episode Nagi movie just because, or if the U20 match does look good, then the episode Nagi movie was a cash grab in order to improve upon this match. So yeah, who knows?
So here's how it works. I have some stuff. So it applies on several things. It factors. It works by project scale, animation style, the number of people, the production stages, and other factors such as story, video duration, number of scenes and transitions, music, voice actors, and soundtracks. Those how affect the budget, because when talking about budget, it's not just about the visuals of what you see. It's about the composers who make the OSTs. It's about the voice actors who have contracts, who are paid for a certain amount of lines or speaking roles during the episode. So let's start by one. So project scale. So like overall, say you have $50,000 to spend on this one episode, right? That $50,000 has to go towards everything, right? So take that as your total. You go to animation style. So simple 2D animation with very few graphics is by far the cheapest, right? But while you have animation with more complex and multiple characters, advanced features, extensive frame-by-frame work, they're more expensive, right?
Yeah.
It all depends on how long. Think of it like this: scene duration, right? Times number of moving, times complexity of project. So how complex is the animation style? Is it one character? Is it multiple characters? Right? Times compositing. Times soundtrack. Times duration. Times style. Times compositing. Times soundtrack. Times voice actors. Times number of people. That's your budget for a single scene.
Okay.
So say you have to work on a 4-minute sequence, and you have one person working on a 4-minute sequence, right? Say for every 10 seconds of animation, they want to be paid $100, right? No, it's probably different than that, but like say for every 10 seconds of animation, they want to get paid $100. So basically $10 for every second. Meaning for that sequence, just alone for animating that sequence, you're already promising them that animator $2,400 on that lone sequence, right? Say that rate gets multiplied by however many different segments there are in that sequence. So like take the Shido goal, however many different cuts there are, that's how much they want to get paid. So say for every 6 different cuts, they want to be paid by 1.5 times. So say there's 6 different cuts, so multiply that by 1.5. Their rate wants to be increased by 150%. Their rate, then you would be promising them 3,600, right?
Yeah,
that's 3,600 for just that 4-second sequence. That's not including anything else. Now, for the soundtrack artist, now say this is a one-time payment, right? But say you have a sound designer who for the OST wants to be paid $5,000 for the OST of Shido, right?
Yeah.
You're setting $5,000 away for that OST thing. Now, say the voice actor has in this contract, depending on a certain amount of lines, he has to be paid a certain amount. So let's say all of the voice actors combined, $10,000, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So 5,000. So for that one sequence alone, 3,600 has been paid out, right? You've already dedicated for that episode $10,000 towards the voice actors, correct?
Yeah.
You've also dedicated $5,000 towards your sound designer.
Mm-hmm.
That puts you at the voice actors and the sound designer, and one basic sequence alone. That puts you at $18,600 out of your $20,000 budget for that episode. Meaning for the rest of that episode, you have to stretch $1,400.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, right? I believe they have the money to put towards this season.
Yeah.
There's no excuse with how successful season 1 was done. Then, with how successful the episode Nagi movie is, with how successful the current manga is, there's no excuse to why they don't have the budget. Yeah. They do.
So
I genuinely think it comes down to a time restraint. If U20 match does look bad, they just need to put more time into it. I would have gladly waited another 2 years for season 2 of the anime in order for it to look actually good, because this was like an aspect in which I was super excited to see animated upon reading a U20 match, because U20 match was fucking peak.
Yeah. Also, real quick, how much money do you think the episode Nagi movie made? Just roughly.
Well, okay, so in Japan upon official release, okay, let me do some quick math.
Yeah. Because I'll go through and I'll explain, because I actually have direct sources of, because Crunchyroll actually did a breakdown for this. So these are all in US conversions, not of the episode Nagi thing, but just in general of episode. So according to an investigation by the Media Development Research Institution Incorporated, a 30-minute episode of a TV anime in 2010 that totaled 11 million yen, which is around 145,000 US dollars at the current exchange rate, consisted of the following expenses. Original work was $660, or around 50,000 yen. Script writing was around $2,640.
Yeah.
Episode direction, $6,600. Production, $26,402. Key animation supervision, $3,300. Key animation, $19,801. In-betweening, which is animating the in-between moments, $14,521. Finishing, which is usually your compositing, $15,841. Background artists, $15,841. Photography, $9,240. So you'll get like your key shots that are used in like teasers and such like that, right?
Yeah.
Sound design $15,841. Materials $5,280. Editing $2,640. Printing $6,600.
Why are we forgetting that season 1 was very successful? Yeah, I already mentioned that. I already mentioned that they clearly have the budget for this by the success of season 1 and the fact that it was the most successful manga sold in Japan in 2023.
Yes. So here, domestic wise, the movie made $1.8 million.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Internationally, made about $12 million.
12 million. Yep. 12,000. Imagine. That would have been a fucking bust.
Yeah. If you suppose an average, if you suppose an average episode is about 5,000 frame rates, the price per frame for an in-betweener animator is 220 yen, or just under $3, which is apparently a rate that hasn't really changed in the past 30 years.
Okay.
Which price per frame is not that bad, considering usual animations go for around 18 to 24 frames per second. So although that's a lot of work, like, because that's 24 drawings for a second, so that's 24 times 3. That's $72 for 1 second of animation. But say so that's 5,000. So yeah, it's around 15,000 for an in-betweener. But
for people saying that's low, I'm trying to find the source of like what that puts it in terms of other numbers. It's all time. Okay, so its highest one is all-time domestic box office for digital animation movies. It's ranked as 230th, and that was when they made 1.85 million. They were 6,010 for all-time international box office. And then for all-time worldwide box office for digital animation movies, they were 451st. That's not bad. Considering that they definitely made profit off of it.
Yeah. So I think it just comes down to what they're dedicating their time to. They do have the money in their budget. It just comes down to a lot. It also comes down to a lot of other shows like for Toei and Demon Slayer. Like Toei doing One Piece and Dragon Ball, and you have Demon Slayer, Ufotable doing Demon Slayer. There's key animators specifically designated to work on each of those anime. Blue Lock doesn't have a single key animator.
Yeah, not yet until Arrow comes along and starts animating for them.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyways, that's just some foresight into it. I think that it comes down to they pulled the flashback trailer from season 2's animation, because why not reuse footage if you don't have to? So so that's quality we could expect from season 2's U20 match, around that level of quality, I'd hope. But again, don't keep your hopes too high, don't keep them too low. Always hope for the best, but hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective into this falls under the same perspective as I have for Nintendo Directs. I don't expect anything, and therefore I cannot be disappointed.
No, yeah.
I was only particularly disappointed by this episode because fuck me.
Oh yeah.
But now that they've set the bar that low, I'm ready for if it can get worse somehow.
It can get weirder.
Mr. Weird.
Yeah. But all right, last one before we get into the last event of the stream. If Shido were on the 4v4 against Rain, could Shido, Barō, Nagi, and Shigure have won? Hell no.
Well, wait, repeat that? My fucking brain had to process.
If Shido were on the 4v4 team against Rain, could Shido, Barō, Nagi, and Shigure have won? No. No. Isagi was essentially the anchor holding everyone together.
Yeah, they needed Isagi. Isagi's talents were much beyond just the capabilities of a striker. He was playing as the essential midfielder and defender.
Yeah. Okay, let me put it like this. Who do you see keeping up with Rain's thoughts? Shido could do it in terms of like just instinct, but that was in terms of offensive play when they're on the same team. In terms of like one offensive and one defensive, you have to have a similar style of mind in order for Rin to have been predicted like how EC was doing it. Shido wouldn't have been able to. They would have probably gone. I think they 3-5. I think Bachata would not have awakened, but that wouldn't necessarily have mattered. I think Rin would have scored. The Rin team would have scored 5. This new team with Shido would have scored 3.
Yeah, Shido would not be able to even like work with Burū at all.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, Shido, Baro, and Nagi would have scored. Chigiri only scored in that match because of the 4-way chemical reaction they had, but they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have.
To hold their team together, they need a essential passer.
Yeah, that's literally as they said in the additional time. They said they needed Isagi there because he was the glue that held them all together.
Yeah,
but anyways,
I genuinely don't think anyone could have filled that role besides Ren.
Yeah, no. I don't even think Royale at that point could have done it.
Nah.
No. Alright. So the last event that we have for today's stream, which I mentioned to Raven, is that we get to take a look now at some fan-made NEL stats, because for some reason we don't get any stats on the characters in this latest game from PXG or Bastard München. So we have fan ones to go off of. We're gonna give our thoughts, like whether we think these are good, whether they're accurate or not. But yeah, so we're gonna start by taking a look at Yoichi Isagi.
Can you send me?
Yes, I will. Yes, I will send them to you.
Okay.
So, looking at Isagi's stats, given this fan thing, Isagi has an 85 in speed, an 83 in defense, an 82 in passing, a 75 in dribbling, a 90 in shooting, and a 96 in offense, with a total of 93 S rank. Raven, what do you think about these stats?
Okay. Dribbling is accurate. I believe, like, even if he has current like dribbling feats, it's not as impressive as like other individuals. He does rely mainly on the passing element in order to get past people, which is completely fine. Dribbling can stay the same though. Passing is fine. Defense, because Metavision is akin to a defensive skill, I don't mind that being bumped up a little bit. Speed, I feel like can be a little bit lower.
I agree. I said the same. I said speed and defense should switch.
Yeah, 85 for defense and 83 for speed seem accurate. Offense, I don't believe it should be 96, but it's definitely one of the highest stats. I believe a 93.
He was 94 in Ubers.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, I'll take it back.
Here, let me see him.
95.
Yeah, her. In Ubers, he had open image edit tab. Isagi in Ubers had a 77 in speed, a 75 in defense, a 78 in passing, a 70 in dribbling, an 82 in shooting, and a 94 in offense.
Fair enough. And the shooting is definitely improved. Yeah. Realistically, I'd just say like switch around speed and defense. I didn't think his offense was that close to 96, but I don't have many complaints about this really.
I have a couple. I think his shooting is too high. Whether or not you want to consider his twin gun volley or his ambidexterity, it's the fact that he doesn't have controlled shot power. He can only fire accurate shots with direct shooting, which is I've said this, direct shooting is probably the worst shooting style you can ever have.
But shooting actually applies to their strongest shooting weapon, so therefore it doesn't consider like the variety of it. So I believe it. In that
regard, even then, like these stats would be pre-recorded to his twin gun volley, so we should not consider that because it's not concluded.
Oh, it's pre-recorded. Okay, yeah, I would lower that.
Because these stats are supposed to be set like going into the PXG game.
Okay, that's fine. I would lower that to...
All of these stats are supposed to be going according to the PXG game.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd lower that... I lower from 70s probably like 88, 87.
I think I think his shooting should go down to just. I think it should. I don't think it should be. I don't think his shooting should be 90. I think 89 is fine. I think having it be an A just outside of S is fine. His offense, I think, is a little high. I think 95, going up only 1 point, just because drastically. Overall, his stats have improved, but like he still kind of plays the same. He just still needs teammates to do anything. His speed should be switched with his defense, so 83 in defense, 85 in speed. His passing's alright. I think his dribbling is good, but I think his overall stats should not be higher than Burū or Nagi, who are at 92. I think 91 or 90 is good.
It does mean that other parts of his stats are after, because we don't know the calculation of what it considers overall, right? Because it's clearly measured off the letters rather than numbers. So like, I'd say S. Let's take this as an example. S is probably worth like the highest amount of points.
Yeah, it's like a 4.
So we're ranging S as a 4 because the lowest stat that we've seen in regards to these players is like C, right?
Yeah.
So S is 4, A is 3, B is 2, C is 1.
D,
has two S.
Yeah, if there's a D, it's 0. Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, anything below D is 0. So in terms of that, he's got like 8 from offense and defense, and then addition to that, he's got 9, which makes 17. Then he's got 21. So from that, yeah, his overall stats would mean like to reach S, he would need at least 2 S's, in addition to these A's and B's. So if it's I believe if shooting did go down, he'd be above 90, right, in order to still have S, right?
90 or up would be S.
So he would still be S if we lowered his shooting.
I think I think if we put him at S, I think if we put him at 90, I think that's good. Shoots him up because he went from Manshine to Ubers. Because that was a drastic increase. He learned his lefty shot. He learned metavision. I think going 6 points up from 82 to 88 is good, but I think going up 2 points just because he just kind of refined those to be a little better.
Yeah.
I think going up 2 points is good. So I think 90 is.
I would also say 91 is fair.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Eternal, I get your point that direct shooting is incredibly technically difficult, but say you can fire off a rifle, like a sniper rifle with precision accuracy, but then you don't know how to shoot a pistol.
But in all fairness, this shooting weapon is measured to his literal best component weapon. And this is also before us seeing the twin gun volley. So
yeah. But yeah.
I believe us lowering shooting is not unreasonable.
Yeah, I agree. So should we go on to the next one? Which the next one we'll throw Hiyori in. Hiyori will be our next one.
I wish I had the ability to make these because fuck me, it would be so much fun.
Yeah, there's gotta be a template somewhere. Anyways, so looking at Hiyori's stats. Hiyori has an 81 in speed, an 80 in defense, a 97 in passing, a 95 in dribbling, an 82 in shooting, and an 89 in offense, with a 92 stat total. What do you think about these stats?
His offense is high, man.
Look at his dribbling! His dribbling is 95! That's like as high as Bachira!
Oh, that's as high as Bachira? That's crazy. But
no,
I want to address the offense because he has no, like, major offensive feats, like besides his one attempt.
Bachira's dribbling is 95. Bachira's dribbling is 95.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can lower that, but I'm talking about his offense right now.
What's his offense again?
It's 89.
That's too low.
Do you actually think that's too low? It's one below the estimated Isagi. And then it would be above Isagi.
His offense?
No, that is way too high.
His offense? His offense is 89.
Oh yeah, I can't read. No, I still think that should be lowered. He's had one offensive feat when trying to strike the ball.
But it doesn't. It just terms for all offensive plays. Like he's assisted. He's a great passer. He has metavision now. I think.
I still think that should be lower because I don't like in terms of recently, especially like he's gotten one assist for Isagi, right? He's got one assist for
Isagi. He would have had another one, but Kunigami Kunigami has the assist instead. But he's still he still predicted Charles, which is a defensive thing, but he still was able to shoot a pass through 3 people to the specific spot that would work for Isagi to score from.
I still think offense is going lower. My opinion's not really changing on that.
Yeah. His shooting, I think, should go to lower.
Not by much. Like I've labeled as A8, A7.
Okay, that's not that. I can agree with that.
Shooting, he has good shooting potential. I believe it should be bumped up a little bit. Like,
no, I disagree.
Give him an 83.
I disagree. I think it should go down to 80.
Dribbling, take that down to fucking 90.
His what?
Dribbling 90.
No, his dribbling shouldn't even be S. He's shown 2 dribbling feats in the series.
As a midfielder, he like usually all midfielders are pretty good at dribbling anyway.
Yeah, but he's only showed 2 dribbling feats because he just usually like will send. He usually does like what Isagi does.
You can put him at 89. I'll put him at 90. Passing, it makes sense.
Passing, I think it's a little high, but I think it's all right. I think
it is extremely high.
I think 90. I think make his passing 95.
Yeah, because if size is like 99 or 100, fuck me.
I just don't think like I really don't think like, if you're talking about Hiyori's best skills.
What's Ness's pass? I want to compare it
Ness's I think is also 87.
Passing 87 or 97.
97. Looking at Ness's.
Yeah, I put Hiyori as 95.
Ness's overall is a 93. His passing is 97.
97. Yeah. Put his passing at 95.
Okay. Here's the thing. You said you wanted his dribbling to be 90, correct?
Yeah.
Ness's dribbling is 90. Do you consider?
I honestly haven't seen as much Ness dribbling feats anyway. So,
we saw him in the first with his ankle technique. He's able to roll it around people. He's done it several times. He's broken past several defenders. He did it in Ubers.
That's cool, man. But we haven't seen anything from him recently because bro's been dead.
What's Hiyori been doing, bro?
Hiyori is done enough to where I believe he deserves a 90.
Yeah. I disagree, but
that's fine. I believe his total stat total. Fuck me. I bring that down to a 90 and at lowest 89. I say
89. Yeah. I don't think he needs to be S tier. He's played 1 game. This is his 2nd game, but he's had.
Bro must have had a massive increase, man.
Yeah, well, bro actually started trying now.
Yeah, bro's like, finally, I can kick a ball.
Yeah.
I wanted to play video games and kill my parents, but
ball keeping. When did Karasu say his ball keeping was insane? People have said that about Karasu, not about Hiyori. They say he has left-legged precision.
Hiyori's ball keeping is crazy. Like he keeps my balls clean all the time.
That's fair. I have a panel to back this. Give me the chapter. No, give me a panel. Give me a chapter, so I can look at it myself. Because I don't think you can send things to chat, or just if you're in the Discord, send it in the Discord chat.
I assume ball keeping does relate to dribbling.
I'd say if you want to call it in that regard, but then why then Karasu would have insanely high dribbling, despite him not really dribbling.
Okay, yeah. So defense, I guess.
How do you send the panel? If you're in the Discord, which you can go. By the way, join the Discord. You can join the Discord by clicking the link down below in the description. If you click the link in the description, if you're not in the Discord, join that, and go to like you can either message me directly or you can just send it in like general chat, and I'll take a look at it.
I tell you what, like we may not disagree on some of like the individual stat totals, but we do agree on the overall stat totals.
Yeah. I think his defense is a little low. Like Metavision again is a defensive ability. Yeah. Like it's a defensive ability, and he used it to predict the unpredictable Charles.
Yeah, I mean that was something in which he predicted Charles. He also stopped Rin shot, which Kaiser and Isagi both couldn't stop. So
here, let me ask you this: say you're on your side of the field. 3 people tried to press you to steal the ball.
Yeah.
If you are keeping them from stealing the ball, are you actively playing offense or are you playing defense?
Um,
But
it
you're on
depends
your
which side of the pitch
you're on your side of the field. Like, okay, in the Ubers match,
defense.
he already
That's
had gotten the ball. Lorenzo, Nico, and Bato had all gone to press him to steal the ball.
And that's on his side.
It's on his side of the. It's on Hiyori's side. Yes. Is that playing defense, or is it playing offense? Because he's going to try and progress up the field.
You're playing in the defensive position to progress upwards. Technically, like Don Lorenzo's ball keeping and dribbling count as also his defense as well, because.
Okay, are ball keeping and ball handling the same thing? I would say no. I would say no. Offense. Right?
This is how real life works.
I would say ball.
Basing off real life.
Does Zero still think that dribbling equals hard work and not talent? No, I've accepted that it is a lot of talent, but I do still think it has a lot of hard work and contribute. I think it's more talent now. Raven did provide a good argument. I still think it is talent, but I do think hard work is definitely a very huge factor. Specifically, like a good example is Yuki Miya.
Yeah, to improve in certain aspects of dribbling, yes, hard work is especially there. Yeah. But like to be like someone who's bachelor, for example, who gains innovation like off the fucking rip to continuously dribble. He was good at dribbling as a kid, right? You may have argued like he has hard work because he's been dribbling all his life, but he was gifted the ball and was already good at dribbling.
Right. This is gonna sound weird. Is ball keeping and ball handling the exact same thing? Because to me, like ball keeping means like being able to keep possession of the ball without being able to how people steal it. Ball handling is the ability to control the ball itself.
Yeah.
Because the panel they sent me is Kurasu saying, your natural physical abilities and the ball handling skills you honed, and that left leg kick sense is just too sexy. That's what he says. Ball handling is not the ball keeping in the context.
It depends on the relation of like what it is, but because that is like a stagnant panel, I believe it refers to the control of the ball rather than the actual like ball keeping.
Dub comes out likely next weekend. They usually release it 2 weeks after. It can sometimes be 3. So if it's not next weekend, it's usually the weekend after. But I'm predicting it's going to be this weekend. Which, by the way, once we get Aiku's dub voice actor confirmed, I am reaching out immediately for an interview. We already got Loki's. Get Aiku.
It turns out it is Shanks.
If it's Shanks, I'll literally. If it's Shanks, I queef. If it's Shanks, I queef.
Yeah, but then we will never be able to reach out to her.
I mean, I want to get Shanks' signature for my One Piece poster back here, so I'll just like get an Aiku signature as well, and then
last touching on my cutlass.
Yeah. But
100,000 fans ain't really done, Jack. New group plan, new clothes for the Emperor. Keep it on Halloween tree.
Dude, that song is so underrated. It's such an underrated cipher.
Conquest pops off as Shanks.
He does really. Ball retention, they feel, is more of a team effort to keep possession, while ball handling is more ball control. Well, it's not ball. It's ball. Well, keeping equals retention, sure, but it's ball keeping.
You know who's a good ball handler?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But all right. But yeah, so we should go on to we should go on to the next one. So we have, I think, 8 or 9 people here. So we'll go to this boy. We'll go to Corona next.
Fuck, I hope it seemed an accident. Corona. We're just going for the bastard players. Let's go. Is it only the bastard players?
Yes, this one we only have the bastard players.
Yeah.
I've seen, because we have official stats of everyone else. I have PXG, not with me, but I've seen PXG. I've talked about them before. Actually, we can go over PXG if you'd like to. I have them on my phone.
Man, not really. We can do one more after Corona.
We still have. I'll tell you who we have. I have Hiyori, Igiguri, Isagi, Kiora, Yukimiya, Gagamaru, Corona, Raichi, and Kunigami. That's who I have here.
Let's cover Raichi after.
Bet. So looking at this, Corona has a 95 in speed, a 60 in defense, an 87 in passing, an 85 in dribbling, a 72 in shooting, and an 88 in offense.
Does Igiguri have like a 98, 99 in speed?
98.
98. Okay.
I don't think his speed is wrong. Because Corona was able to catch up to
no.
Chigiri. I don't think his speed is wrong.
No,
I think his speed is good.
I don't think. Yeah, like he can catch up to Chigiri, but he's still slower, like in terms of the stat. But like that also may be referring to the speed of his short turns, which those are fucking fast. Offense.
It's fine, I think. Maybe I think it's fine. I could see it being lowered to, like, I could see it even being like 85, but at the same time, 88 doesn't feel wrong to me.
I mean, in terms of the feats that he showcased, like being able to push upfield with Isagi on a consistent basis.
Yes, okay. Yeah. Tesseract. You show me panels of him dribbling Lorenzo. That's the second defensive feat he's shown in the series, which came out of nowhere. That's why I thought that this game that Uber's lost by plot was because this was Hiyori's second dribbling feat, and somehow he's able to out-dribble Nico and Lorenzo, a Metavision user and the best defender we've seen in the series. He shouldn't be able to do that, but the fact that he was...
for my boy Lorenzo.
Justice for my boy Lorenzo. But...
shooting, yeah, we haven't seen shooting, so that's understandably low.
His dribbling is too high, in my opinion. He doesn't dribble, he just was 1-2 passes.
I believe his pass should go higher, but his dribbling should come...
Shoot is passing up to 88. Shoot is dribbling down to like 82.
Bump the... No, that would be going down. It's 87 right now.
No, I said bump his dribbling down to 82. Bump his passing up to 88.
I did not hear the passing bit.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Or 89. Actually, I put his pass on 89 and bump his dribbling down to 82.
Now, here's the thing that gets me a little confused is the defense. He's playing as a wingback, which means he'd have to come back to defend. Am I wrong in that?
Yeah, but no. It's sort of specific. If it's defending on his side, yes, but if it's not, then he technically still has to play as the sort of be ready to receive the ball kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So he's basically responsible for picking up loose balls on his side, or defending if he's being approached on his side. You know.
Hmm.
I believe his defense stat is fine because I believe I've seen any defensive feats from him. This is actually quite accurate, Corona. Just lower his dribbling, bump his passing a little bit, and I believe the same stat total still applies.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's a good Corona.
It works. Like it's good in my opinion.
I'm not mad at the stat total really, and I'm not mad at, like, I'm just being nitpicky realistically. So you can realistically keep it at that and be like that's fine.
Yeah. Hold up. I think I might have figured out how they do the ranking thing.
Oh yeah.
So let's give them numbers. So
you're doing all the letters.
Yeah, so like so G is 0, F is 1, E is 2, D is 3, C is 4, B is 5,
yeah.
A is 6, and S is 7.
Mm-hmm.
So would we say that an S plus is directly at 100 then? Because I know it says 90 to 100, but I feel like...
Yeah. If it's like, I'd say like you can probably get higher than 100 on like breaks.
So let's say
this is actually the BLUELOCK mobile game rankings. So we're gonna do S plus, SS, SS plus 1, SS plus. It just keeps going. So we're gonna do. Go with that. How about that?
Kind of.
Oh no, 101 to 110. Welcome to BLUELOCK game. You super delayed right now?
No, I'm mathing.
Okay. Just checking.
Okay, I'm still confused. Like,
yeah, it's not consistent, I don't think.
No.
Because then we'd have to factor in the individual numbers, and like Isagi Hiyori has 2 S's, but then all A's, and then Isagi has 2 S's, A's, and then a B.
Increased shot of Corona as he was the 4th in the 2nd selection. That doesn't mean shit. Shida was the last.
Shida was the last. Shida could have just been messing around the entire time.
Also, Isagi finished before Bato.
Yeah, true.
Like,
yeah, I don't think the 2nd selection means shit anyway because we're in the NEL now.
yeah. Like, Corona stats from when he was first. Like, Corona stats in the NEL, if you look at his stats in Manshine, right? His stats in the Manshine, 90 in speed, 75 in defense, 81 in passing, 86 in dribbling, 74 in shooting, and 77. Compare that now. His offense has gone up significantly. His shooting has gone down, though. His dribbling's gone up. His passing's gone up. His defense has dropped by 7 points, and his speed has gone up. But now compare that Corona to Uber's Corona. I'm gonna read you Uber's Corona right now. 75 in speed, 68 in defense, 83 in passing, 84 in dribbling, 72 in shooting, and 86 in offense. Like, from Manshine to Uber's, he got worse at defending. He also got worse at shooting from Manshine to Uber's.
Yeah, man, all the time, man.
So I feel like dropping his shooting even more is not the biggest, like, oh no, we can't do that type thing.
I believe, like, it comes to realizations, right? Like, this individual, of course, doesn't have the full-on accuracy to be able to drop his stats to this extent, because I feel like they would want to keep his stats relatively the same to what they were, and then just bump up a few other aspects if it was the actual author doing it.
Yeah.
But it's a fair stat distribution.
Yeah. What about the overall 86 total? I think it's too high. I think if IQ is 85, Corona should not be higher overall than IQ.
I believe that IQ would have increased since then. I believe IQ would be like a significant boost in my opinion. I don't think IQ should be 85 really.
I think Corona should be 84 overall.
I would just keep him at the same and say IQ increases.
Because look at it like this. I put it to you like this, right? So if you have A, right? A being like the middle point, B being lower, C being lower, and S being plus. If you take a point from your S, make that an A, and give it to your C, you make that a B. So you have A, B, B. That's your overall stat total. Like, that's your overall stats. I don't think with him having 4 A's and having 2 B's that in 84 is the worst thing, because I think if you have all A's, you're good at the 85 mark.
Yeah. Fair.
So I think
A5.
Okay, that's fair. All right, and then we'll go over one more. So who do you want to go over? Raichi? Bet we'll go over Raichi, and then we'll call it for this one. We continue this next stream when we go over Egoist Bible stuff too.
Defense S, correct.
I actually haven't seen Raichi. I haven't taken a good look at Raichi's.
Pass.
So Raichi has a 79 in speed, a 91 in defense, an 82 in passing, an 80 in dribbling, an 82 in shooting, and an 84 in offense with an 85 stat total. It's gonna sound weird. I don't think his defense should be S. I think his defense should be 89.
I disagree.
Like, when I hear S ranked defender, I don't think Raichi. When you tell me A ranked defender, I think Raichi.
But then there's higher S's than Raichi. There's still like significant room. I would still keep his defense at S, so you can bump it down to 94. I care. He's still a good defender.
Well, it's the same kind of logic when you say S rank shooter. I think Kaiser, Rin, Bato, even Shido. I don't think Isagi. Here, I don't think.
But then, like, who else really? We got Lorenzo, IQ.
Who would I consider an S rank? I would consider Ardu barely at a 90 because of his height. His height and his reach are incredible for playing defense.
Then we have Raichi's like unbelievable stamina.
His unbelievable stamina isn't really that impressive anymore. Like Isagi was keeping up with him.
No, but here's the thing. I believe like Raichi could last longer than Kunigami if he's completely trying to man mark someone, right? And from there, it's all about like that. Raichi can last the whole game at his like holding that defensive.
Raichi didn't hold off Snuffy.
Stamina.
Don't try and say he held him off. He did not.
I'm not. I've
not
never,
you.
I've not
No,
said
the
that.
The chat said. They said he held off Snuffy. He did not hold Snuffy off.
Yeah, there's a difference between restricting options and holding off. He didn't hold him
he was
off.
stalling. He was stalling at best.
Yeah. He's stalling at best.
Like, cause
it's still impressive. Still impressive.
It's still
Snuffy's really fucking high, but like, it's not that he completely shut down Snuffy, because Snuffy could have been like, "Oh fuck you," and then dribble past him.
Yeah, Isagi was dying and Raichi was laughing. Yeah, in the first selection, go back to chapter, I think it's like 209, titled 100%. They're starting and they're doing their thing. Igaguri's dying. Raichi's like, yeah, let's do 20 more. Isagi's locked the fuck in.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly think the defense is fine. You may not consider him an S tier defender, but like there is so much more room for other defenders to be above him that is a fair stat for me.
I think he's close. I think he's close. I just don't think he's at S. I think 89 is a fine thing in my opinion. I don't think he deserves anything S tier yet. I think 5 A's and 1 B, fine by me. I think his offense is a little too high. He hasn't really played any offense, so I think to bump that down to 82. Same with his shooting, bump that down to 80. Dribbling is fine at 80. His passing, I think, is fine. Maybe could even go up to 83. His speed, I think, should go up to 80 as well, just because despite his stamina, he needs to keep up. It doesn't matter how long you can run for. If you can't keep up with someone, your man marking isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, so this is what I think. So he would basically have another A if we bumped him to 80.
I think so, all A player. I think all A's.
I will say 80 for speed, 82 for offense, 80 for shooting, still at 80 for dribbling. I would keep his passing at 82 as well. Defense 90.
I think defense 89. I think all A's are work more for me, in my opinion, but I can understand the 1 point up difference. Overall 85. I think 84, because I'm making him go lower. Pretty much.
I believe. Well,
no,
you say
no.
all A's for
yeah,
you say
all
A's
A's
for Corona and you rate him 84. So
no,
I believe.
I think 85. I think 85 is good if I'm because I'm basically docking 1 S and making his B an A. So yeah, I think all A's.
I say he stays at A because realistically, like the only increase I did for him was speed. Everything else everything I either kept the same or lower. But so I believe 85 is fair.
No, yeah, I agree with that. All right, that's all we'll do for today's stream. We will be going live again next week. At least I will. I don't know if everyone wants to join me because I don't know if I'll let him out of the basement. You know.
Help me. Help.
Help.
Please.
I need somebody's help.
My balls are fucking stapled to this chair.
Oh, it's like a jigsaw trap. Your balls have been stapled to this chair. Suck mine, or have yours get ripped off. But yeah, where do I get these fan-made stats from? I just found them on TikTok, and I just downloaded them. Like, oh, that'll be cool. You can usually find them on Reddit too.
I would want to reach out to the creator of these to. Let's see if we can find them. Let's see if we can find them.
Yeah, I will post these in the Discord as well under the blue. I'll just post it under the BLUELOCK debating. I'll post all these stats there. If you want to take a look at them closer and use them yourself.
Yeah.
But
yeah, anywho, thank you all so much for joining us. Please leave a like and subscribe. Join our Discord. Shit like that.
I appreciate you guys for taking the time to join our stream. We'll be going live next week. Tomorrow I have my review and reaction of my episode 2 thoughts. My review and reaction for that. I'm going to be working on my Egoist Bible moment for Nagi next week, my Egoist Bible video. Hopefully Raven will help me because I can't do it alone. I'm gonna be grinding. But yeah, I will hopefully get that out to you guys next week. And if it's by Tuesday and I don't have all the information for the Egoist Bible, I'm going to abandon the Egoist Bible for this week and do a video that I already have the script for done. So I'll start that one, and then I'll do the Egoist Bible next week. So you'll at least get the Egoist Bible fully translated and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for joining. I will see you guys